Frank, Franklin, come and take plantain.
We fry the indomie.
Good afternoon, everyone. Can we hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Good
Okay.
afternoon.
Okay. Good afternoon. How are you doing?
I'm
Okay.
fine.
Yes. So we'll start soon. I mean, Mr. Tunji.
Morning.
And more time for people to come in. Yes, sir. Good morning,
Yeah.
sir.
Morning.
So I
That's
guess
exactly what
yes.
I'm trying to wait for people to come in. Because once you miss a part of it, you miss a part
Yeah. Yeah.
because they're all interwoven.
Okay, sir.
Yeah. So I'm just waiting. Once it's 12:15, I'll just pick up and start.
Okay.
Okay, sir. Sir, can we also have it recorded?
Yes. It will be recorded.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir.
Uh,
Thank you very much. Thank you, everyone. Just sit back and enjoy yourselves. Okay.
All right.
Yes.
Okay. So see if it's see the people around. Share Deborah, Aziz.
Yeah.
If hope I'm not missing anyone out. Okay, Felicia.
Hi.
How are you, Felicia?
I'm fine.
Your smile is very bright. It's
I'm so excited to be here. That's why.
such an honor to be here too.
Yeah,
Look
I'm
forward
excited. I can't wait.
yes, so it's gonna be a life makeover.
Yeah.
You know, awesome. Okay. So in about 5 minutes we'll start up.
All right.
We're gonna so get ready. Take a cup of coffee. Take a bottle of Coke. Take Pepsi. Take something that will keep you active. Take all distractions away because you're in for a ride.
All
Okay.
right.
Right. Okay, can you see the screen?
Yes, I can.
Yes.
Okay. So what are you seeing on the screen at the moment?
Like a PowerPoint display kind of presentation.
Okay. Did it change?
Yes, it has changed.
Okay, so once again, I welcome everyone to class. So we have about 9 people. So if you can hear me, let me know if you can hear me. Can anyone hear me?
Good
Yeah, I
afternoon,
can
sir.
hear you.
Awesome. Okay. All right. Can we do like a 1 minute intro? Just unmute your mic. Tell me your name and what you expect from this meeting. Your name and what you expect from this meeting. So who starts? Who's gonna start out? Should I start alphabetically? Okay. So who is willing to start out? I'm sorry, I don't know why my video is not coming up. I'm trying to struggle with it. I hope I'll be able to see my face before the meeting is over. So Abdulatif Oduyoye. Okay, so can we hear you? Is Abdulatif ready?
Good morning. Hello, good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
All right. So, my name is Abdulatif Oduyoye, and I'm a member of ASAT, and also I'm actually a social entrepreneur and a social volunteer, serial volunteer, precisely. So, one thing I want to get from this training is more expertise, because over time I've been seeing people I'm willing to help, and I know that this training is going to equip me to, help these people that I feel they need my help in terms of their mental health, because over time I've been able to meet with people that have, mental health related problems and they need way out. So I feel these training should assist me get more expertise to be able to play my role out there.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for sharing that. All right, so who is next? As Aisha.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Aisha.
All right, Aisha.
I'm a member of ASAD and then a medical radiographer. And I hope to take away a lot more on mental health and how to help people who find themselves in complicated situations with their mental health, better after this training.
Okay. All right. Which other aid do we have there? Temi, would you help me? Is Temi still there or is gone? Okay, so which other aid do we have? I'm trying to do alphabetical order. Abdul Lima and Peace. Okay, can you tell us your name and what you expect from this meeting? I think she just joined in, right? Okay, so which other aid do we have? Okay, if you're ready to talk, just stop so that we don't. I just want us to do this in 10 minutes. If just unmute yourself and tell us your name and what you expect from this.
Hi, good morning, everyone.
Morning.
My name is Felicia. I expect to get more knowledge on mental health from this training, because I believe that as many people as are equipped to be able to help out others, it would help to make the world better, a better society, or to help people out. So basically, I want to be able to help people out, people that need, to be heard, or people that have mental issues or depressing issues or depressing thoughts. That's what I expect to get from this training. Thank you.
Okay, so who's next? Durami. There's a Durami I saw here. I hope I didn't murder that name. I hope I got it. Who's next?
Good afternoon, sir. I am Esther. This is Durami, actually. Yes. I am a member of the ASADS team and I work with other NGOs too. Okay, so what do I hope to learn from or get from this training? I want to learn more on identifying, understanding, and responding well to different people that have mental illnesses. I would also like to learn to build understanding of my impact and basic ways that I can respond to people that I find that need help. Thank you, sir.
Okay, thank you. Okay, who's next?
Good afternoon, sir.
What's your name?
My name is Deborah Shumuyiwa.
Okay, that's Debbie.
I would like to learn, and like to get an expert opinion and learn the proper ways of responding to people and generally how to help them better. That's all. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Who's next? Who's next?
Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, sir.
How will you do?
Fine, thank you. My name is Faye Shara Ojigbe. I'm an ASAD listener and a member of ASAD. I hope to learn how to help people more to cope with mental health issues. Thank you.
All right. Okay, so who's next?
Hello, everyone.
Hello.
Good afternoon. My name is Omomi Oduga, and I'm a member of the ASAD discussion team. I feel there's still a lot I don't know about mental health. That's why I decided to join this training, just to learn more.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Who's next? Who's next?
You say who's next? That's me now. Hey, I don't know. Did you put it on this? No.
Okay, so if you are not speaking, can you please mute your So who's next? So we can quickly, we're a bit behind schedule. Who's next? Are we shy? Thou shalt not be shy. No one want to speak again? Huh? Okay. So in the absence of that, so so to be an ASAD support listener, so please also I'll need everyone to please put their to please mute their mics. I'm going to auto mute from here, but also so please everyone, please mute your mics. If you need to say anything, you can just go to the chat. If you have a question, you could just go to the chat box and drop your question there. I'm sure we're in for an amazing time. Okay, so as ASAD listeners, as people who are willing to help other people with their mental health issue, I welcome you to this amazing journey. The beautiful thing about life is that the more you know, the better you do. You can't do more than you know. The reality is that there are too many people who want to do a lot, but you don't know so much. So it's important for us to invest our time, because we're in a world where knowledge has become a very important tool, a very important thing for everyone to embrace. Okay, And to attain knowledge, you need to consistently, intentionally add value to yourself. Because I look back at I left university in 2001, and I looked at the things I've done till date. I can realize that it's not only by my certificate, because you see, if knowledge is not put into practice, it doesn't benefit anyone. There were just not only the things I learned that helped me, there were the things I learned and I put to practice. So I will please implore us not just to be hearers of these things, but also to ensure that we put it to practice. Okay, the first person you have to resurrect is yourself. Okay, because this journey is like we're going to resurrect someone's emotion that is dead. We're going to help, but you see, this is first to sort yourself out, before you can think of sorting somebody else out. Okay, so let's not approach this from a signboard perspective. You know what a signboard does. A signboard just points attention to um, where there's help. Okay, and it's important for us to know that it goes beyond just storing knowledge. Yeah, it's good because the storage of information or access to information that is already stored is good, but it won't do anybody anything if it's not practically utilized. Okay, so as we take 3 hours today, we take 3 hours tomorrow. Please if you don't have a writing material there, please go get one, because knowledge will give you power. And the more you acquire it, the more you write, the more you can remember, the more it becomes a part of you. Because the beginning of knowledge is the discovery of something we do not understand. Let me say that again. The beginning of knowledge is the discovery of something we don't understand. Okay? And one of my mentors jokingly like to say that the dumbest people I know are those who know it all. I mean, it was a quote by Malcolm Forbes. He said the dumbest people are the people who knows it all. The reality is that nobody knows it all. Real knowledge is intrinsic and it is built from ground up. It's gradual, and it's impossible for a man to learn what he thinks he already knows. So don't let's approach this like I know this. When I do trainings, I like to say to people, everything you know about mental health today, just like you're removing a cap, just remove it and put it by your side, so that you can open your mind to learn new things. Because great knowledge is universal, small knowledge is limited. Great words are very inspiring, but small words can also help you charter the path that you would desire to fulfill. So please, I needed to mention all of that. This is not a time where you will be chatting and you will be on webinar. This is a time where, okay, coincidentally, if you're using your phone, beautiful, but as much as possible, you've got to be disciplined to get everything that this entails. All right, so my name is Tunji Babajide. I'm the lead consultant of an organization called Awesome Effect Consulting. One of the things that we do is that we create mental well awareness among upwardly mobile professionals. We do management consulting, we do life coaching, we do therapy and psychotherapy. And I've been doing this for the past about 12 years. I started in 2008. 12 years of learning and relearning. It's been a learning curve, and I'm happy to introduce someone to some of the things I've learned over the years that I have practiced. Okay, so I have a neuro-linguistic programming certification from the London Coaching Academy, 1. I also have a neuro-linguistic programming certification, 2. NLP, in short, is the study of how the brain works, how emotion, thoughts, beliefs affect the brain. I'm also emotional intelligence certified practitioner. I have a diploma in workplace psychology. I have a UK certification in life coaching, among many other things. But I'll just keep it to that. The next thing you will see on your screen. Sorry. Yeah, is my profile, the things I've done. Okay, so it's not news that the world is experiencing the global pandemic. While the long-term outlook of the COVID-19 pandemic is highly uncertain, businesses are nevertheless having to adopt new troubling challenges such as severe supply, demand disruption, social distancing, and serious mental health implications. So I started from this point because as Assad listeners, one of the things, or people who are passionate about the mental health, I just try to unpack uh, the demographic of people that are listening to me. The reality is that this COVID-19 is even going to usher in new challenges for the mental health space. Between Monday and today, I've had to refer three ladies to a rehab in where do I'm ward of it. The one I usually use that I refer people is that expensive is 40. That one is 40,000 per night for single space. For a shared space is 25,000 per night. By the time they sent me the bill, that it went to 2.2 million naira in 3 months. So to be mentally healthy, to have mental health, it's not a luxury. It's not a luxury. It's a priority. I mean, when I told the lady the price, the lady of the sister who reached out to me, she just busted into tears because she said if they sell everything on heaven and earth, they don't have that money. So I had to go take her through a coaching session, and I told her, well, when you're in need like this, you go to family and friends. She was able to raise about 800. I went back to Amuwo to speak to the doctor there, the psychiatric doctor there, and now I think they picked up her sister this morning. They've called me. I've not been able to pick because of coaching session this morning. So I'm just saying in essence that the pandemic is going to usher in another dimension of mental health challenges. And we have to be ready. We have to be ready, and we have to consistently add value to ourselves. I don't want to share with you very scary things, but I must tell you that things are happening. I'm in the middle of it, and if I don't tell you how bad it is, I'll be doing you a lot of bad. So there's a lot of noise about mental health. I mean, about the pandemic. Some of you even post the daily figures on your status and all of that. But you see, there is a noiseless effect of COVID-19. And that's the effect it's having on our emotions, on the people's emotions, on their feelings, on their behavior, etc. Okay, so we need to be ready to attend to more and more people as this goes on. So the cut in salary will cause psychological distress. People will grieve over job loss. People will grieve over loss of loved ones. Anything you lose, there's always a grief over it. Very often people will fall into shock. Okay, and on and on and on and on that way. So it's important for us to know how the spectrum is. Once there is a pandemic like this, there's always a psychological distress. There's grief over job loss, grief over loss of loved ones, and very often people fall into shock. Okay, terms of all of this include intellectual disability. Someone who you have always known to be extremely intelligent will begin to speak to you in a very mundane way. You will begin to second guess their intellectual capacity. When they interact with you, you realize that what they're saying and who you know them to be does not tally at all. There's what is called separation anxiety disorder. It happens when you are disconnected from what you derive esteem from. People, especially relationship, people who are in a relationship and they break up, people who lose their job, or people who knows a caregiver who lost the job. There's also eating disorder. There's a lot of disorder I'm going to mention in the course of the training. Several disorders, eating disorder, sleep disorder. There are also stress-related disorders. So stress is usually a normal thing in life. But oftentimes I realize that there is what I call self-imposed stressors. When you do things that you can't afford, when you begin to live beyond your means, it's called self-imposed stressors that are very avoidable, but yet people put themselves into that particular issue. Okay, there's also what we call the depressive episodes. There's also anxiety disorders. Anytime you hear disorders, because I want to take you like people who are new in the field. Anytime you hear disorders, it means that there is a distortion. There's a psychological distress. All All of this is under psychological distress that we saw earlier. Okay, so this is a very powerful quote. I love it so much. It said 95% of disease is caused by stress, and 100% of stress is caused by a wrong belief. I'm sure you can see all of that on your screen. Okay, this was discovered by a man called Bruce Lipton. He's a medical doctor who does research across the nations of the world. So every mental health disease is triggered by one level of stress, and stress is caused by a wrong belief. So it's important that we know the root of these things. It's important that we don't take it for granted. The lady the family I spoke to you about, when the lady had depressive issues or depression, I told them, let's start a session. They said they don't have money. I was too expensive. I was charging them about 50K per session, and I was going to do only about 6 sessions for them. I was even willing to do 30K per session, but they said it was expensive. Now they've got to pay 800,000. So there's no price too much for keeping our mental health. Okay, so let's have that at the back of our mind when we're talking to people. And thankful to Assad that has really done a lot of awareness and all of that. So negative emotions, unresolved emotional traumas are 6 times deadlier than the effect of smoking and alcohol. Can you beat that? Negative emotions. If I had time, I would have told you to type in examples of negative emotions, But it says negative emotions, unresolved emotional traumas are 6 times deadlier than the effects of smoking and alcohol. I'm sure you can't beat that. Okay, so it's critical for us to know that when we are sad listeners or we are passionate about helping people, we must approach it from the fact that several people have unresolved emotional traumas. Tomorrow, I'm going to be doing what I call the trauma walk. Taking people to their childhood and helping them correct certain growing up. A lot of us have unresolved traumas, and we have unprocessed emotions. And you see, like I said, you have to be sure that you first sort yourself before you sort everyone out. Sorry, the family is trying to call me. Okay. So yeah, it's very important for us to have that at the back of our mind. Next slide. Sorry. Okay, depression is the most common mental and emotional health disorder. And I need you to know that for everyone or for majority of the people who have one level of mental health issue or the other, you can almost be sure that depression will show up on the spectrum. So depression is the leading cause of disability worldwide and is a major contributor to the global burden of disease. More women are affected by depression than men, and it is a very, very real illness. Okay? Depression will be, the WHO has predicted, so that you know that we have plenty of work to do. Predicted that depression will be the world's second deadliest disease and source of disability by 2020. Can I say that again? Depression will be the world's second deadliest disease and source of disability by 2020, and the world's #1 killer and source of disability by 2030. Whatever standard you want to look at that, okay? One of the highest selling prescribed drug in Nigeria is what is called Prozac. It's an antidepressant, anti-anxiety, anti-panic drug. You can't even get it on the counter. It has to be prescribed for you by a pharmacist or a medical doctor. Igbo boys bring a lot of Prozac who are in the pharmacy industry because it's the #1 depressive drug globally. And it's not a good thing when they begin to take that drug because it makes them like a sedative. It makes them docile. It makes them to manage excessive emotion because at that time their brain is not optimal. They're very suboptimal. I'm trying to paint the picture of the extreme of it so that we don't get people on that spot. So that as we approach the things we want to do in the mental health space, we will get all of this in our perspective. So with all of this prediction, ladies and gentlemen, you will agree with me that there is a need for mental health awareness like never before. I've personally written the National Orientation Agency of Nigeria to even give them, heads up on how we can approach this. I don't know whether it got to the decision maker or not, but the reality is that we need the National Orientation Agency of Nigeria. We need state governors. We need vice chancellors. We need rectors of polytechnics to join in this mental health awareness journey, because the more you are aware about something, the easier is it for you to manage. There's still a lot of mystery around it. Myself and Awa, one of the younger generation that is championing the mental health stuff in Nigeria, we spoke regularly and she told me how she has been able to speak to the Senate and the House of Assembly about the things to do. We hope that it will see the day of light. Okay, so mental health is a continuum spectrum. It ranges from having a good mental health to having a mental disorder. Okay, a person will vary along this continuum at different points of his or her life. So having mental health does not mean you have it today, you have it forever. No. It's a continuum, okay? You must consistently work at it. It's not a one-off. It's not like a vaccine that you give to people and once they have it forever. It's something that you have to consistently work towards. You have to build in such a way that you can manage the excesses, the stress, etc., that might show its ugly head. Okay, so imagine if mental health was introduced to our schools, our secondary schools, our primary schools. I mean, a couple of you probably need to take that up because I can't do everything. We need people in that industry at the moment. I think it was about 2 weeks ago, a particular protege of mine sharing with me how their dream is to go to secondary school and the issues that are even there are very alarming. There've been teenagers who are on drugs. There've been a lot of young people who are just just heartbroken, and some of their parents are just taking them to maybe the different house spiritual head. I mean, they're totally mystifying it in essence, So it's important for us to please take this very serious, because I believe that God is sending a lot of us to different areas so we can increase this awareness and we can help out with what is required. Listening to people is a major part of the mental health awareness space. Okay. So a while ago, I was discussing with Dari, about how it's been difficult with the next generation, getting them to understand some of these things that we're saying. Okay, let me run. So mental health disorder is a diagnosable illness that affects a person's thinking, emotional state and behavior and disrupts the person's ability to work or carry out other daily activities in a satisfying relationship. So when we say someone has a mental health disorder, what we are saying in essence is that it's a mental disorder is a diagnosable illness that affects a person's thinking, emotional state, and behavior to disrupt the person's ability to work or go to school or be in a relationship or be able to communicate effectively. Medically, mental disorders are among disabling diseases. Disability is the disruption a healthy is a is the disruption a health problem causes, beg your pardon, to a person's ability to work, care for him or herself, and carry on with relationships. Let me say that again. Medically, mental disorders are among disabling diseases. Disability is the disruption a health problem causes uh, to a person's ability to work, care for himself or herself, carry out other daily activities in satisfying relationship. Okay, a mental health problem, a mental health challenge is a broader term that includes both mental disorders and symptoms of mental health challenges that may not be severe enough to warrant the diagnosis of a mental health disorder. Okay. For those of you that attended the other session, I think I'd mentioned this, but for those that were not there, I will quickly mention this to us. Oh, sorry about that. Okay, so we came up with a mental health first aid. What we should do, and that's part of the things I want all of us to please have at the back of our mind. Mental health first aid is something that we can all use. Mental health first aid has a set of well-developed action plans on how individuals facing the mental health challenge can both help themselves and be helped by first aiders. Okay? So we came up with an acronym ALGEE. For those that were not there the last time, I probably just run through it. A means access for risk of suicide or harm. When you notice that your very happy-go-lucky friend has just become very quiet, is not talking, please be able to assess it. Maybe one of the sessions I'll teach you a few other things to do. But one of the very popular one is you see them do the opposite. Is they are the very, very happy-go-lucky type. They are very withdrawn. In fact, they are the quiet type. You see them to be a lot more withdrawn. They won't take their bath. They will lose interest in what used to excite them. So you need to be able to access for risk. Then you check their status. You see that they are posting things about regret. Not everyone who posts things about regret and all of that. But you see, if you will be in this space, your intuition must just be very active. You have to be very intuitive, because there's some of the things that you will need to pay attention to that you probably will not. Maybe I should use the word discerning. You'll be able to discern what is happening in the life of the person around you, or when you're in a listening or a group therapy session, you just be able to look at people and know that something is wrong. You must develop the ability to hear what people are saying and to see what people are not saying. I didn't say hear what people are not saying, to see. I mean, that looks like something a bit contradictory, but that's the truth. So when people say things like me and Kuku will not talk to anybody again, or you see someone sigh regularly, so it's as you develop that ability to look out for people who are at risk or have suicidal thoughts, that's when you will now grow. So it's a learning curve. And the things I will teach you, the things that you have to catch on the job. Okay? The next one is L, listening non-judgmentally. Our society is largely judgmental. One of the ladies I helped get to River this week, when I took a brief, one of the things that killed her was that we're very legalistic in this part of the world. We are quick to say somebody is going to hell, somebody is not going to hell, somebody is and that's why people are not vulnerable as they should be. They're scared that if they tell someone else about their challenges, their frailties, their issues, it can be used against them. So we need to grow up. We might not be able to control everyone, but we need to be able to get to that point where we have that emotional maturity, where we can listen non-judgmentally to people that are around us. Okay, the other is ALG, the other one is G, give assurance, reassurance and information. Give the person reassurance that there's hope. You know, tomorrow I will share with us things that you shouldn't say in the session, things that you can't afford to do, you know. So give assurance, reassurance and information. You know, don't ask question about blame. So why did you now go there? Please don't say that. They've gone there, they've gone there. Don't let's whip the horse and kill the horse. Your job is to give reassurance and information. The other is encourage appropriate professional help. Thankfully, Assad has a couple of listeners. When it gets beyond that, we can now move from listeners to the therapist available to us. Encourage self-help, self-care, and other support strategies. Self-help in the sense that it helps them change their lifestyle. Altering lifestyle has a lot to do with mental health issues. Okay, so self-care is encourage them to take their bath, to brush, to lose interest with the life. You begin to see how they don't want to take their bath, they don't want to brush their teeth, they often lose appetite, as the case will be. Okay, let's go to the next slide. So there are the 8 lifestyle windows to the human mind and body through which stress attacks. So I'm going to just mention that to us. Okay, so there's the weight fitness, that's W. E stands for about our emotions. L stands about leisure. We must create time where all work and no play makes Jack a dull boy. Learning, you must give time for learning. You must watch your nutrition. You must be careful about your environment, because your environment says a lot about the beliefs, the values that you imbibe. Your sexuality. When I say sexuality, I'm talking about how much of sex you have. I'm talking about the fact that your deepest connection to whether you're a male or a female, your acceptance of who you are, you know, your responsibility in whatever gender, etc. Then spirituality is your understanding of a God greater than you, etc. Okay, so go to the next slide. We mentioned seeking professional help the other time. When people have come to therapy groups and you've been a listener there, we must almost also give them the opportunity to say, after the class, you have access to a therapist. Please, if you think that you still will require to see a therapist, I'm sure Dari and Timmy will put a structure to that. 4 important elements in not just organizational health, generally health. Maybe you should use organization. Some of you don't started work, some of you will work really town, and this will be one of the things that will help you to even help your HR department or admin department create a mental health hub, you know, where people are free to talk and they're non-judgmental about the people who listen. Okay, so people, process, profit, and partnership. Okay, what does that mean? We need people to make every organization work. We need processes to put the people in place. We need to understand that the people and the process must bring profit. And ultimately, we will know that for the profit to be continual, the return on investment to be continual, we need professionals to partner with for us to be. So even for Assad, that's what Assad is doing. There are people on the group, but there's a process to becoming a listener. You know, ultimately, we also said people who are top-notch listeners who have been able to go through this class and a few other criteria will be able to profit from it. But ultimately, the beauty of it is that Assad now has people that they can partner with. And very soon, some of you listening to me will become partners with Assad. People to you, you can, you know, facilitate a group therapy session, you know, going forward. So someone asked, does coaching work in this mental health space? Does it work? Yes, coaching works. So what I do as a mental health practitioner is I combine coaching and therapy. Coaching helps you set goals for the future. Therapy takes you back to heal from the past. Okay. So if you check your screen, I'll just read some of the things there. It says the personal benefits of individual and group coaching are as wide range as the individuals involved. Numerous clients report that coaching positively impacted their careers, their business, as well as their lives by helping them to, number one, establish and take action towards achieving goals, become more self-reliant, gain more job and life satisfaction, integration, contribute more effectively to the team and the organization, take greater responsibility and accountability for action commitments, work more easily and productively for others, communicate more effectively. So yes, it works. It works, and I mean, I'm a living testimony to the fact that coaching works. You know, so for you also, when you're doing your support group facilitation, you need to put all of this in perspective to say at the end, by the time we're done with all of the, emotional issues, you should be able to say, okay, I'm going to help you establish and take action towards your achieving goals, because the people you are talking to, they've lost interest in with their life. Okay, so you help them become more reliant, help them to gain more job and life satisfaction or job life integration, contribute more effectively to the team, whether it's in class or at work, take greater responsibility and accountability for action and commitment. Okay, fact about the workplace coaching. So don't forget, this is a two-edged sword. We're preparing you for the workplace, we're preparing you for life. So in case someone who is in the workplace work comes to you, all of this is put together so that our knowledge bank can be full. Statistics report by Monty White is a study involving Fortune 1000 companies who engage coaches for change and growth, said that coaching explores the general value and return on investment of executive coaching and presents the following: observable and productivity increase reported by 53% of executives. Coaching increased in organizational strength by 40%, increases customer service by 39%, increase in bottom line profitability by 22%, improve working relationship with direct reports by 27%, improve team working report by 67%, increase job satisfaction by 61%, conflict reduction by 52%, increase organizational commitment by 44%. A study of executive coaching of over 500 firms by Matrix Global reported a 529% return on investment and significant intangible benefits to the business. The picture that we can form from information above is that coaching is immensely beneficial to organizations, leadership, and individuals at all. And all. The employees need clarity, students need clarity, your patients need clarity. Clarity is one of the most difficult things for people to attend. I mean, I say that very sense of responsibility. There are too many people who form big girls, big boys, but they're not clear what they want to do. So I always say this: if you don't know where you are going, please don't take anybody along with you, because it's like the blind following the blind. Both of them will fall into a ditch. So if you're out there, you don't know what you're doing, you're not clear about what you're doing yet, it's not the time to be chasing one Clara around or one Sister Tokwe or one, It's the time to sit down and re-engineer know your gaps, skill gap, knowledge gap, and close those gaps. You can skip this. Okay, so on the screen you will see coaching and therapy. I just needed to show you the difference. Okay, for coaching want to achieve goals, will help you to achieve goals, declutter your brain, gain clarity, regain focus, and live a fulfilling life. It will stop you from going back and forth from getting anywhere. Coaching will help you learn how to make insightful decisions and do whatever it takes for you to have more joy, productivity, and better results. Imagine but unchanged, free of all the annoying things stopping you. What will therapy do on this spectrum? What if you can get rid of the past hurt, anxiety, depression, and trauma? Don't worry. It won't take years of sitting on the therapy couch. You will experience approaches like NLP, programming, behavioral change, and all of that. So this is for maybe people I want to do a referral to. Thankfully, we have a number of people that we can do that referral to. And I always explain to them, you need coaching and therapy for you to approach your issue in a very holistic way. Therapy will take you to the back to help you solve your processed emotions, your very challenging upbringing. Then coaching will now be goals for the future. Okay, next slide. Naturally, coaching and therapy sessions will be radically different in their approach, although they are both by nature solution focused and outcome driven. The experience of working with several hundred clients over the years will ensure that the right approach is used and tailored to your organization or to the people that you are speaking with. So in other words, it's saying that you were going to do, your sessions has to be tailored. So when we do support group, we like to put people who have the same issues together, therapy, depression. So maybe someone is heartbroken. Maybe we have 6 people that are heartbroken. There's something in common about them. It's the same therapy, but when you find people who have gone through what you have gone through, it gives you that encouragement. Okay, so each session we follow a plan, but not a blueprint, as things often crop up and require exploration and attention. So some support groups or support group sessions will require 4 support group, 5, depending on the time of engagement. All right, but I must also tell you that more focus should be placed on the process than the content. In other words, so sessions will usually explore the structure much more than the story, giving greater insight into progress and faster. So if you decide to take someone as a laborator for your support group facilitation, number one, it has to be with their permission. Number two, you have to do it in a not in a sarcastic way, but just to create an atmosphere where people find it easy to talk. I don't know if any of you have attended my support groups facilitation before, but I remember that one we had in Lekki, even how an elderly woman who be invariably my clients later on. I just picked up on someone until I saw the eagerness of the person to talk. So I picked on the person, particularly she spoke and she cried. Her crying just changed the atmosphere of the support group session. By the time I said, who wants to talk next, I had about 5 hands up. Okay, so we're going to talk about that one later. How do you talk to people and get them to be willing to be that vulnerable? That's a special skill that any listening facilitator needs to learn and embrace. Okay, this is just about the working place. Let me skip that. Okay, mental health or well-being is a state of well-being in which every individual realizes his own or her own potential, can cope with the normal stress of life, can work productively and fruitfully, and is able to make contributions to our or his community. Okay, so look at the very major words. Is a state of well-being. If you are writing, write that, in which the individual realizes his own potential. I love this one. He can cope with normal stress. So there's what is called normal stress. He can work productively and fruitfully and can make contribution to our or his community. So that's the first session. I want to take questions. I want you to type it in the comment section. Okay, so if you have questions, before I go to the next one, questions. So are you saying that we understand everything that I have said? Questions. I don't want it to be a monologue. I want it to be a dialogue. Okay, people are saying something here. Okay, go ahead with your question, Abdul Latif. Please start your question, Abdulatif. Okay. It says, how do I identify if we have to use a coaching method or therapy method? So, except you begin to do a one-on-one, this is how a typical support group system will work. You won't say, we're not in a coaching session, we're not in a therapy session. This is how let me share how I do, because I don't think any of you have been in my support group system. So I welcome everyone, just like I've told you, tell us about yourself. Yes, I'm going to give you the slide. I'll give you the slide. Tell us about yourself. Now, when you say, tell me about yourself, what you are doing is you are doing what we call icebreaker. Okay, you are making people loosen up. You are making people know who is who. Please let's mute our mics. Thank you. You are making people know who is who. You are maybe another thing that you could also say is, tell us a day you will never forget in your life. Then someone say, oh, one day I slapped a conductor. Then everybody laughs. Okay. One of the quotes in copy speaking is, a smile is the shortest journey between two people. You see, when you can crack a joke and two people can laugh, they've connected. Or when you crack a joke and someone laughs about the joke you have cracked, there's a connection. So you must develop a sense of humor. You can't go for a sad listening skill and you are all frown up. No, you've got to have a certain level of energy that you are dissipating, that you are expressing. Okay, so when I do that, then I share my own story. You see, because vulnerability bats vulnerability. Let me tell you the last one I shared. I mean, I showed yapped myself. This is my own approach. So I said, many years ago, I was operating confident ignorance. Try. So it's one thing to be ignorant. It's another thing to be confident ignorant. Guys, if you see how my life be that time, you see me, you go pity me. Then I shared the story of how I traveled to Ibadan, and I believe that my jack, my spare tire, my fire extinguisher was all intact, only for me to get to Owerri. And security people pulled me over and were checking my car. They saw my documents were complete, but my fire extinguisher had expired. Then I laugh out loud. Then I said to them, sometimes in life, that's the way we are. We have confident ignorance. We're ignorant, but we're very confident about our ignorance. Then you say things like, I'm sure some of you have been in my shoes before. This is not a time where we're coming here to form. We're here to, just talk about life issues. So I look for 2-3 stories to share because metaphors are easier ways to, okay? Thank you so much. You mentioned unresolved emotional trauma. Is it a cause of closure, childhood trauma, breakup, etc.? What if closure is available from the people that caused it and stuff? Okay, tomorrow we're going to talk about trauma tomorrow. So I'm going to hang your questions to tomorrow. When I talk about unresolved emotional trauma tomorrow, I'm not sure Temi is there, so let me write it myself. Omoumi. So that means you can't afford to miss tomorrow's class. I'm going to talk about that tomorrow, and I want you to be there. So Omoumi, Oluga. I'm trying to write down your question. Omoumi. All right. So we'll talk about unresolved trauma tomorrow. I'm just trying to do foundational issues that we need to get acquainted to. So now, having said that, in that my session, I'm going to listen to them. I'm going to share the ALGEE, the ALGE approach. I won't mention 5 things. I'll just, because it's part of me, I'll just mention it. and I create stories around emotions. There are loads of stories online. Maybe I share some with you tomorrow. You know, because your session is number one to encourage people who are in that space. Number two, to create an atmosphere where people can identify with other people who have the same issues. Number three, to help them set goals. So coaching now. So when you do all of that, paparazzi, that will look like the therapy of it. People sharing their story, and always get tissue box, because people cry often when you hit the issues of their life. Okay, so when all of that is done, maybe tomorrow also I'll put you through the steps, but this is just foundational. Then secondly, I'll now say, okay, with all of the things we have listened to, I want everyone to get a sheet of paper. So what are the 5 things you need to stop doing so that your mental health can be in place? What are the to start doing? Because the meeting is to change them, and change occurs when there's something to start and there's something to stop. Okay, so you get everyone, if they don't have sheet of paper, you get them sheet of paper. Everybody must write. Then you begin to mention things like, is there a friend out there who you need to detach from, who helps you regret about your past? Were you raped? Da 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 da. So everybody needs to come up with it. Everybody. So that's where coaching comes in. That's the coaching part of every support group facilitation. So the therapy is the crying, the sharing stories, your own vulnerability. The coaching is when we now set goals, because the support group system mustn't end without an action plan. Okay. So Ojewumi, I hope I answered. Okay, who asked this other question? I'm trying to look for who has asked this question. Okay, Abdul Latif Oduyoyada. So I hope I answered your question. Okay, other questions to the second module? Any other question? If you can hear me, we have 15 people here. Can you just type in the comment box something that you took away from this meeting? Something that you learned, something that was beneficial, something that was exceptional. Quick. Let's do that quickly. Like I said to you, I don't like monologue. I like dialogue. I like to be in a meeting where I talk, you talk, not just me talking. Okay, one person has said something. Thank you so much. You mentioned, okay. I'm waiting. I learned the appropriate difference between coaching and therapy. Thank you. Thank you, Aisha, for the feedback. Okay, let me take everybody. Let's do this quick. This is the only way I can feel inspired and to be motivated, that I'm not just been talking to myself. The challenge with virtual, I learned the mental health first aid, ALGEE. Thank you. I learned vulnerability, breath vulnerability. Yes, that's the truth. You can't stiffen up and expect people to be vulnerable in yours. You have to be willing to. And you see, let me also mention this. You can't be in the mental health space and you'll be secretive. I'm not saying share your entire secret with the world, but you've got to be willing to open up permitting to use your bomb, open up, made issues, mistakes. Okay, I learned it is best approach case both with therapy and coaching. Thank you for your session. I learned mental health first aid. Oh, okay. And I thought people had learned it before. Okay, the mental health first aid, awesome. This is just about 6 people, more people, 9 more people to go. If the rest of you don't talk, I will not continue. You can do more than you know. You can do more than you know. This was my biggest takeaway. Thank you. You learned the difference between coaching and therapy. Depression in its realest state and why antidepressant isn't as great as explained. Thank you. I learned coaching is very important before therapy session. Okay, 4 more people to go. Try and not write what other people have written. Pop. Who am I waiting for? Okay, I got to know WHO's prediction. Okay. I'm waiting. So talk to the rest of you. If they don't talk, me, I will not talk. But yeah, now. And negative emotions kill faster than smoking. Yes, so faster. I smile a lot, but you can the smile is what the smile is really. It's in fact the shortest distance between two. The smile is really important. Thank you. Okay, is that all? Okay, so this is an encouragement for me. So, what is the connection between stress and mental health? Okay, you see, because stress is something everyone experiences. Everyone experiences stress. Despite being unpleasant, stress in itself is not an illness. It's not at all. But there's a connection between stress and mental health condition, including depression, anxiety, psychosis, post-traumatic stress disorder. Research also has it. Research also has it that stress also causes a lot of health challenges. Stress causes physical changes in the body. It increases heart rate and breathing, muscle tension, short-term memory, etc. Because you see, when stress is not responded to, or in other words, it is prolonged, it is, or rather, it has become a very difficult effect. Or let me put it this way: it has a it has a lot of impact on our emotions. Some of the emotional and behavioral symptoms of stress overlap always are the things that show in mental health conditions. Okay, chronic stress increases the risk of developing depression and anxiety in some people. The precise mechanism of how stress is linked to mental health well-being are being uncovered. Scientists are trying to do more research. I mentioned a few things to us today, and in fact, I need to mention this. There's a link between stress and mental health and my immune system. Okay, during the stress response, the immune system is activated, helping you to keep safe. But chronic stress and prolonged activation of the immune system could negatively affect how the brain functions. Okay, so I'm going to talk about the impact of stress, because when you are having your session, you must be able to knock about some of the issues that has led them to different challenges that they are facing. So this you have to mention on how stress is a normal thing and all of that. So please take your pen again so that we can take this journey together. Okay. Where do I start from? Okay. All right. So here's a very powerful question. Are you 100% mentally and emotionally well? Is your life balanced? Okay, so there is a balanced lifestyle on the screen that you can see. There's a comfort zone, there's life, there's healthy living, unless we have a balance or integration. Okay, so it's important that we begin to think of how do we integrate life? How do we integrate our academics? How do we integrate, some of you have religious commitments, So it's important that to balance this particular issue. Just a minute. Okay, so if you check your screen, you will also see so what can be done in the way of having your life balance and your well-being. So there's life, there's work, there's family, there's career. So let's take that particular journey together. So we will, okay, I think Tammy have your emails so that I can forward these mails to them and they can forward to you. All right, next slide. So there are a couple of things we found out that has been a challenge to stress in our world. You see, number one enemy that a lot of people have not been able to discover, or better put, let me put it this way, that has ushered in stress into many lives, especially in a city like Lagos, is lack of EQ, lack of emotional intelligence. A lot of people lack emotional intelligence. I think tomorrow I'm going to mention, okay, someone has said something in the chat box. Okay, so tell me saying that you should send your email address so that it will be easy for them to send to you. So what is emotional intelligence? Now, let me pause here. You can't be a support group facilitator if you don't intentionally scale up your emotional intelligence. Can I say that again? You can't be a successful or an effective support group facilitator if you are not, or if you haven't taken time to look at your emotional intelligence. So emotional intelligence is a way of recognizing, understanding, and choosing how we think, how we feel, and how we act. Don't forget there is a choice. So I said in the last meeting we had with some of you that were there, I said it is the weakness of society. So say somebody got us angry. Nobody can get you angry. Maybe you had it from your parents, you had it from a conductor, you had it from your lecturer, you had it from an authority figure. You see, our reaction is a choice based on our filters and our preferences. Okay? So emotional intelligence shapes our interactions with others and our understanding of ourselves. It defines how and what we learn. It allows us to set priorities. It determines the majority of our daily action. Now, why is emotional intelligence important in the support group facilitation model? It's important because some support group facilitation can be very hostile. Some people can be very, you are talking to them, they're not responding to you. If you have emotional intelligence, you just say, why are you looking like it? Why are you looking like you are not okay? You are not okay. So don't be if you are the type that is always saying, I give everybody a piece of my mind. A support group facilitator cannot give everybody a piece of your mind. The piece of your mind will die there till the meeting is over. Hello, somebody. So that's why I'm taking time on this one slide. Emotional intelligence is a way of recognizing, understanding, and choosing how we think. Because nothing has meaning except the meaning we give to it. Just before I came up now, one of my proteges said she has a dream that somebody was pursuing her in her dream. What does it mean? I said nothing has a meaning except the meaning you give to it. Okay? So I'm saying in essence that, that's another symposium discussion. So if somebody looks at you in a particular way, let me bring it to context. If somebody looks at you in a particular way and you're now reading into it and you are using that to respond, you must, support group facilitators must develop shock absorber. I remember a support group facilitation I went to do for Nena in, I think it was around Ikoyi. There was a lady there. She was just easing at me, just easing. She was just easing. She would look at me up down like this. So if I read meaning to it, I will not be able to talk that. Invariably, by the time the censure enter, you know the song where they say, when they do enter body, when they say enter her body, she was the one that cried and now shared the experience, how she has been raped severally and all of that. So I'm saying in essence, you can't say what you feel like saying. Also, our support group facilitation sessions are confidential. It's not that you go back to the hostel and say, hey, Titi, hey, you don't know what's happening. Things are happening. You know that girl that used to be at sports center, used to do like somebody that is praying. Actually, she has, no, hello. Support group facilitators must develop a high sense of confidentiality. That's why you don't see me mention any names. I've mentioned examples, but you will never see me mention names. And it's because of this context. In fact, there's always a note of confidentiality that everyone that will come for that meeting will sign to say that whatever we say there stays there. Okay? Let me move on. So, because when we begin to lose our trust by virtue of people hearing what we said in the support facilitation, people will not come again. Okay, so you also need to mention, say a lot of people have not forgiven themselves. Self-forgiveness is essential for self-healing. My mouth says I'm okay, my fingers text I'm fine, my heart says I am broken. You know, those three issues are often there. Okay. Next slide. Research suggests that's why we said when we're doing the adverts that this is not just going to be for our sad listeners, is a life skill. Emotional intelligence is a life skill. Look at this powerful slide. It says that research suggests that emotional intelligence is responsible for as much as 85% of success in our lives and careers. Let me bust your bubbles. Certificate is overrated in Nigeria. And I know there are a lot of you're in Unilag. Someone's mic is on. Jura, you need to mute your mic. Thank you. Okay? It's overrated. There are two people I've mentored, and I'm going to use their story as a metaphor. One was exceptionally intelligent, but lacked emotional intelligence. The other was average, but had emotional intelligence. The one that lacked emotional intelligence has gotten about three jobs, but they keep laying out because her mouth is sharp. She has a problem. The one that is average has changed jobs twice. She's earning times 3 of the one that has intellectual intelligence have. She's presently earning about 450,000. The other one is earning about 150 or 180,000. What's the issue? One lacked emotional intelligence. The other one had emotional intelligence. They both had 2-2 from a renowned university. You know. So what I'm saying is, intellectual intelligence might give you access to get the job, but it takes emotional intelligence and regular knowledge and skill upgrading for you to keep your job. So some people don't focus on knowledge upgrading and all of that. It is more than that. When you have emotional intelligence certification training, you have tendencies to get jobs more than someone that just has and they love Unilag. So let me rub it in. That just has a BSc from Unilag. When you have BSc Unilag and you attach an emotional intelligence certification to your certificate, you have, when we were small, they used to say, let me give you gap. Let me give you gap. You have given people who are 2-2 with you gap. You see, when we were, I don't know how much you people eventually, but some of you didn't even pay. It's because you are focusing on, I'm not saying don't go to school. I'm saying, yeah, go to school, but you need to add other things. Other certification. I went to do a Career Plus certification, employability. I forgot the name of it, but I just went to Makurdi 4 or 5 years ago, 2017 or 2018, I can't remember now. 2016 or 17, I can't remember. It took like, yeah. The compass put money together. They flew me to Abuja. They sent a very beautiful catapult from Abuja to Nasarawa State, to Makurdi, and it's not the Boko Haram state. It's not Borno. What's the capital of? I forgotten them. Anyway, to Makoni. There were about 200 coppers there. They paid about 5,000 naira each. They took hotel for me. We rented hall, you know. But at the end of the day, one of them is presently, so I gave them certificates on employability skills and all of that. One of them presently works with one of the radio stations in Lagos. I don't want to mention the name. What happened? What gave her the edge? There were over 200 people that applied. They became 50, became 70, became 10, became 5. But when they were 5, the lady kept saying that one of the people there said, tell me about emotional intelligence. Emotional intelligence, ability to regulate. Do you regulate your own emotions? They gave us scenarios to play in. Invariably, everyone had almost the same experience. Everyone had the same degree. But because she had emotional intelligence certification, she got the job. Don't just die on certificate. Certificate is overrated in Nigeria. Let me tell you the truth. I told you I've been out of school now 19 years. In my 19 years of school, I must tell you that no matter what you know, it is who you know that helps what you know. But you must know something. You must know the right things. Okay? So I just wanted to mention that because I know that a lot of us don't put priority on capacity development as you should. When they say you come and pay, you say you're a student, but you're not a student to buy the basics of life. I'm just saying you've got to pay attention on some of these side certificates. It will help you a great deal. Let me continue. Okay, consistent success is determined by self-awareness, awareness about your life, awareness about your environment, awareness about the people you're working with, awareness about your organizational politics. Is awareness very important? Patience, personal perseverance, self-resolution and regulation, balanced emotional responsiveness, personal motivation, proper expectation management. Expectation management is another thing that we have to discuss when you're in a Assad group listener. When you go there, don't expect that everybody will laugh at you in the beginning. Don't expect that everybody will respond to you. We're hurt when our values are validated. We're happy when our values are violated. So when you have expectation that you are going to be a support group facilitator today, everybody will warm up to you. Nobody knows what you know until you've proven results. Okay, so there are times when people are in your session and they're just looking at you like dodo. Dodo. The way they do look inside plates. So you've got to manage expectations. Some people will respond, some will not respond. Don't forget they have mental health illness or mental health issues. So no one goes to a psychiatric hospital and expect everybody to be laughing at them. Okay, I'm not saying that's issue. I'm just trying to paint the picture where things are not normal. Okay, so it helps you with social skills, gaining rapport, building and maintaining good relationships. Let's go to the next slide. I want us to do 3 today. Okay, so when we have time, this is called the wheel of life. The screen that you're looking at is called the wheel of life. Especially when it's a series of support group. This is to help people find what triggered their mental health challenge and how to deal with it. So this is like a cycle. So I always use this to help people know where the issues are. You see that this person's issue, the one you see on the screen, the person has problem with low self-esteem. So for those of you that were asking, this is where coaching comes in. So for that person who is having mental health issues, you look at the areas where okay, let me start from the beginning. I'm going too fast. So you draw a round circle, then you plot in the graph. So these are the 12 components of every human life: achievement, contentment, work, career, friendship, security, energy, self-esteem, fun and recreation, home and family, relationship, and finance. You can even do it when you're alone or when I send the slide to you. Don't let that distract you now. When you draw that circle, you now calibrate it into 12. In university, when you score good marks, you say, I scored 20 over 20. When you score 5 over 10, what do you say? The lecturer failed me. Now, this is a circle that typically represents your life. So score yourself of achievement over 100, contentment over 100, friendship over 100, and now join the lines together. Okay? Ask yourself, if this is called the wheel of life. If this is the tire of my life, how far will you go on your journey? It's an exercise, a powerful exercise. When you do it, you will see where your issue is or your issues are. If this is look at that, look at the way it's joined. you know, finances joined to achievement or contentment. If that's the tire of your life, I wish we could have this to be interactive. I wish it was a class. If this is the tire of your life, how fast will you get to your destination? Obviously, the journey will be bumpy. The journey will be, so you now tell everyone which areas have you scored the lowest. Okay, especially this is done when we do 2-3 days of facilitation, or we have 5 hours. In fact, this is also a good what do they call it, icebreaker, you know. So you have people, let people respond. So have you done yours? Have you done yours? Where did you score the lowest? When you score the lowest is a sign of where that is a trigger to some of your emotional discussions. This one you're seeing on the screen is lowest score work and career. He's scored lowest in relationship. So it's a pointer to where their issues are. It's a very easy calibrator for anyone to, you know, use to elicit where the problems are. So you can be sure that the person or the relationship, let's look at the relationship. This guy scored about 20 over 100 in relationship. You know, in the process of your support group facilitation, you will know that this person that is showing 20, you will know that relationship is a trigger to one of the issues that we have. That's what it does. This is what the tool is about. Okay. It also scored low in work and career. It shows that maybe it's been working the same year, or you know, if it's a student, you can put / education. Maybe this person has been scoring very low. You know, but it's just a very simple way to help people calibrate where their issues are. So if we're going to have support group facilitation, Timmy and Dari will make this available on a blank sheet of paper. You have to ask everybody to plot their life. Oh yeah, it's the wind of life. You know, and there's the questions to ask. You know, we've dropped to 12. Some people have left as well. Anyway, so it's important that we do this going forward. Okay, the next one is the second enemy that has, you know, ushered us into some level of stress that we need to be aware of is sedentary lifestyle. Someone is on. Can we please all mute our mics? Trying to find who that person is. Who is that person? Okay, thank you for muting your mic. All right. Sitting is killing us. A lot of us, we drop in from cars to our houses. Sedentary lifestyle it has become, in fact, it's another smoking. Look at the next slide. So if you are the type who doesn't exercise, if you are the type who finds it hard to leave the same spot, you realize that you are living a sedentary lifestyle. So you need to take time to walk around, to exercise, so that you don't fall in that spectrum. So some leading causes of death are heart disease, cancer, chronic low respiratory disease, stroke, accident, lack of concentration, Alzheimer's disease, memory loss, diabetes. Okay. Need to run. Now, where all of the slide is driving towards somewhere, look at what it says. 4 out of the Alzheimer's disease, the diabetes, chronic lower respiratory disease, heart disease are sometimes caused by excessive sitting and sedentary lifestyle. Don't you think that's a problem with our generation where we're so comfort driven? Okay, excessive lifestyle. We sit a lot at work. We sit a lot in class. As we grow older, having sat for a long time, we complicate matters. 80% of the day we are sitting down in the car, office, at home, in front of TV, etc. 80% of the day, can you see that? So by age 65, you would have sat in front of the TV set for 9 years. Oh, see my life outside. See our life outside. Can I read that again? By age 65, you'll have sat in front of the TV set for 9 years, at work for 18 to 20 years, in traffic for 5 to 9 years. I have a feeling they didn't figure out Lagos in these statistics. So by age 80, by age 65, you will have sat in traffic for about 12 years. That's why for me, my stereo in the car, I have loads of CDs I listen to. And if you don't have a car, make sure you put something in your AirPods when you're in Lagos traffic. Because commute time must become a self-development time for you. You know, that's how to redeem the time. Okay? The next slide. Our bodies are breaking down daily from obesity, cancer, depression, based on what scientists call sitting disease. Just continuously sitting down for 2 hours every day can put our metabolic system at risk, can drop good cholesterol by 20%, can reduce blood flow to vital areas of your body, or raise our blood sugar. Think about it. I want that to sink. Let it sink. Let it sink. Let it sink. Are you reading it again and again? Can you see how much Can you see? Next slide. According to Martha Gogan, a seasoned cardiologist at the Mayo Clinic in the US, for people who sit all day, the risk of heart attack is about the same as smoking. Cha, 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 cha. Can you see that? So if you are the type that sits a lot, so don't forget I said this is first to sort you out. Great awareness is also a good way to hit at your audience to say, man, sedentary lifestyle is killing us. So sometimes your mental health issues because you have not even walked around, you know, that and all of that. Okay. The third one, number 3, is stress. You know, there's good stress, there's bad stress. You know, stress is a regular thing that occurs in life. Okay, the comments in the chat box, I hope they're not for me. As someone says, this is scary. Oh, network issues. I hope everyone can hear me now. Yeah, it's scary. Very, very scary, but that's the truth. Everything I share with you, they're research-based, you know. Okay, so good and bad stress. Let me continue before I lose my thoughts. Stress is a cue to check your mental and emotional health and your well-being. You know, it's one of the ways you can know the triggers is to know your mental health and well-being. Look at this, bad stress. It says that 95% of disease is caused by stress. You saw that in the other slide. 100% of stress is caused by a wrong belief. 80 to 90% of health challenges are preventable and account for approximately 90% of cost on individuals, organizations, and nations. While about 95%, oh, Dora left, okay. About 95% of this is stress related. So can you see the impact of stress on mental health? There is no one who's got a mental health issue that does not have a chronic or has issues with stress. So we can't whip the horse and kill the horse. It's just important for us to mention these things. So your belief, your perception of a situation is the source of your stress, and your stress level determines how productive you are. Some health issues related to stress include heart and vascular problems, palpitations, high blood pressure, high cholesterol, weight issues, diabetics, chronic pain, arthritis, joint problems, LBS, loss of libido, erectile dysfunction, chronic depression, migraines, etc. So it's not traffic that is stressing you, it's your perception to the traffic that is stressing you. Can I say that again? It's not the traffic that is stressing you, it's your perception, because it's your perception of a situation that is the source of your stress. Stress is your body's response to its environment, interpretations, perceptions. And stress can be both good and bad. When people feel stressed by something going on around them, their bodies react by releasing chemicals into the body. The biggest problem is sustained stress over extended period of time. So I love this Chinese proverbs. Look at what it says. It says, "He who takes medicine and forgets to watch what he eats wastes the skills of his doctor." Powerful, isn't it? He who takes medicine and forgets to eat watch what he eats wastes the skills of a doctor. So why on earth are we sick? Why on earth do people fall into mental health issues? So research has it. So there's some things we do with the Stanford University. So some of these things are picked from there. Stanford University and the World Health Organization have a lot of things they do together. 8 out of 10 of your body visits are more likely preventable, account for about 90% of your expenses on health as an individual, a family, or an organization, while approximately 95% of it is, beg your pardon, stress related. Can you see? A landmark 20-year study conducted by the University of London concluded that unmanaged stress were a more dangerous, network, showing that my network connection is, okay, shows that unmanaged reactions to stress were a more dangerous risk factor to cancer and heart diseases than cigarette smoking, alcohol, or high cholesterol. Do you see that? A landmark 20-year study conducted by University of London concluded that unmanaged reactions to stress. So even some of you that are listening to me, you need to know and find your stressors. There's an exercise I'm going to leave with us that will help you to know how stressed you are. Time will permit us to carry it out, but you will see. Let's go to the next slide. You will see yourself. You will see. So your body is intelligently designed to heal itself of any disease caused by a disease, lack of ease, disharmony in its mind-body environment. Since once you remove the stress causing and get it back to its normal state. I'm just waiting, I'm pausing, and I'm watching how the thing is sinking. Some of you, it's a discovery to you, but you see, it's first to sort you out, like I said, before you sort out someone else. Interesting, isn't it? Okay. Let's go to the next slide. Your best doctor is not the one who gives you the best attention at the clinic. Your best doctor is the one who daily deny of your best attention. The good news is that your health, happiness, and productivity is less stressed by what you can't control. It's more stressed by what you can control, but you don't know why, when, and how. Let me say that again. Your health, your happiness, your productivity is not far-fetched. It's less stressed by what you can't control. The things that are giving you stress, then your control. But it is more stressed by what you can control. So you can control anything that is a stressor to you. But you don't know so it's more stressed by what you can control, but you don't know why you need to control it. You don't know when you need to control it, and you don't know how you need to control it. Interesting, isn't it? So this is another exercise that needs to be printed out during sessions. Very, very powerful. Okay. I want to remove this so it will be easier for everyone to see. Quick stress test. How stressed are you? Score yourself on a scale of 0 to 10. 0 means never occurred. 1 to 3, does it occur at all or rarely occurs? 4, 5, 6 happens occasionally. 7, 8, 9 happens frequently. 10 happens always. So should we do the exercise, or we should leave it till later? Ladies and gentlemen. I shall say we should do it. If we do it, we will stay longer because we're meant to start for 3. It's meant to be 3 hours today. Everyone's saying let's do it. When I say you should talk, you did not talk. Felicia, you did not talk. Okay, let's quickly do it so that it can be handy. So let me take you back to, so you need to write out the instruction. So write out the score. Write out the score. 0 means it never occurred. So there are questions that you would answer, but you need to know how to respond to them. They will add up the score to know whether you're hypo-stressed, you're hyper-stressed. If you, okay, don't let me go ahead of my, there's a plot you get to. If you fall in that category, you are prone to mental health issues, because don't forget we said extreme stress is one of the triggers. So write out the things on the screen. Let me wait for you to do that. Okay, so I'm sure you've written out the instructions. So this is a quick stress. So we call it stressometer. Okay. They say evidence terminates argument. Okay, Felicia, thank you for the feedback. All right. So the questions are on the screen. I'll just read them. So I need you to score yourself. So score yourself on a scale of 0 to 10 for each sign, with 0 for strongly agree, 10 for strongly, for 0, so beg your pardon, for strongly disagree, 10 for strongly agree. I have frequent sudden emotional anger burst. I lash out at people around me, such as family, friends, colleagues, subordinates, with no apparent cause. Okay, so so you have just 0 or 10. You either write 0 or 10. That other one is to show your scores, So write 0 if it is you strongly agree, write 0. If you strongly disagree, if you strongly disagree, write 0. If you strongly agree, write 10. Second question, overwhelming feeling. I feel overwhelmed with little things in my work life, like my usual routines of relating with others, listening, reading, writing, domestic chores, hobbies, etc. And I feel like getting away from it all. Okay, score yourself on a scale of 0 to 10. Number 3, extortion rather. I get very tired easily or get tired, but find it difficult to sleep. Staying awake is no option because of lack of strength, or I begin to feel weak in my legs, light headache, while standing for a duration I'm used to. 0 or 10. 0 or 10. For sudden appetite change, I experienced a sudden change in my appetite for food, drink, sex, power, inability to eat, eating impulsively, uncontrollably crave for sugar, change in sexual drive, unexplainable crave for power and respect. 0 or 10. 5 rather, loss of sense of purpose, value. I have lost interest in things that I normally hold dear, like personal principles, religious fellowship, fitness control, community service, self-development, or I now notice the pattern of reckless spending, unexplainable debt that keeps recurring in my life. 6, too frequent cold illness. I catch every single cold or flu that comes around and just can't seem to get over them as quickly as I used to, or I'm starting to feel like I'm constantly ill. Seven, wanting mental strength. I find it much harder to concentrate than before, gain clarity of mind on an issue. I now give up on a task easily. My memory seems to be going, and I frequently start to do or say something and then forget what it was that I was saying or doing. 0 or 10. Mood swings. My mood changes from happy or motivated to sad or angry, or to tears or worry and doubts, all at the drop of a hat or no apparent cause. Okay, I think that was a bit fast. 0 or 10. Let me allow you do that. Okay. Next one. Social empathy. I no longer care as much about my appearance as I once did. I even go out without brushing my teeth, touching my hair, ironing my clothes, usual, and all of that. 0 or 10. Okay. Number 10, time pressure. I now feel as if someone has removed a few hours from my day and I struggle to keep up unlike before. I find it difficult to monitor and to manage my time. Okay, so here's your score. Score between 0 and 20, your hypo stress, caused by boredom, lack of motivation, too chilled could cause lack of productivity. If you score between 21 and 50, you are huge stress, you're on point, stay here, good stay to learn, adapt, engage, creativity. If you score between 51 and 80, you are hyper stressed, you are being pushed beyond your limits. Take time out to master your lifestyle responses to stress before it masters you and becomes a serious mental health problem. Um, if you are 81 and 100, you are suffering from a lot of mental health issue. You need help. Okay, so can you type in your scores? Don't type in fake. If you are not truthful to yourself, nobody can help you. Okay, so can I see your scores? You said we should do it. So let's see your scores. Quick. 30. Okay. Chizom says she's 30. Okay, who else? Don't forget we said vulnerability is the, and you have to practice it, especially for some of you who are very secretive. 50, 50, 50, 27. How did you come about 27, Felicia? 30, 70. Whoa, Abdulatif, you need to see me urgently. Deborah, 56. Whoa, Omaomi, 68. That's high. You also need to, we need to talk. There's something that is a trigger to your stress. You underlining effect. That's what I call the noiseless effect of stress on our emotions, body, and so Abdulatif, Omaomi, those are scored high. Please let's talk as fast as possible. Who else? Some people are still not sharing. 20, I'll do like this. 32. Those of you getting 2 on top, where are you getting the 2 from? You are meant to do either 0 or 10. Your scores are meant to be either 0 or 10. Okay. So those of you from 50 upwards, you are hyper stressed. I've not seen anyone that is distressed. Hyper stressed people, please, let's talk as fast as possible. You need to locate your triggers and dislocate it. Okay, because of time, I need to run. But that's the way it works, basically, technically. So there's number one, distress. So we've talked about stress, the impact of it on mental health. Number one, distress magic pill. There's a distress magic pill that can easily change your perception in the midst of stress. You know, you need to change your physiology every 55 minutes for 5 minutes, change your life, stand, dance, and stretch. According to various studies, over 70% of students, employees said that on exercise days, they experience improved mental and interpersonal relationship performance and better overall mood, manage their workload better. So why not do it every 55 minutes for 5 minutes, get immediate benefits. So when you're in class, especially because of the sedentary lifestyle, try and walk around, you know, where places where you can walk. I know some of you are big boys and girls on this in this class, but places where you normally take a cab, it's not far. Walking has become the new sexy thing. I'm telling you, a lot of people are dying and they don't know they're suffering and they're smiling. They're on their way to a mental health illness because of sedentary lifestyle. So find a way to stand, dance, stretch, you know, because comfort has become the order of the day. And too much comfort can also have this negative impact if you flip the coin. So please, let's do the 55 5 minutes, you know, exercise approach to, you know, the first distress. So we call it distress magic pill. Okay. The second one, the number 2 magic pill, change your thinking. As a man, thinking is not so easy. Man becomes what he thinks the most. Negative thoughts is a key root cause of depression. Little wonder WHO predicts that depression will be the second leading killer disease by 2020, and it's starting already. During the pandemic, so we have a psychotherapy and therapy WhatsApp group where people just, you know, bring evidences of suicidal thoughts, people who have killed themselves because of depression or mental health related disease. The lots were not recorded in the newspapers. From that WhatsApp group, I think we were able to record about 18 or 20 during the pandemic. Plus or minus the ones that were on social media, the ones that were on newspapers. So it's a huge thing. So depression will be the second leading killer by 2020, leading killer disease by 2030. So you need to change your thought, change your life, transfer your negative thought into a stress ball. So we have a stress ball that we give to people. Okay, smile and change your thoughts into positive, empowering ones, and feel good about yourself. Listen to good music. Number 3, distress magic pill is love more, hug more, smile more, learn more. Powerful. Love more, hug more. I mean, if it was a class now, I would ask all of you to hug yourself. So if there's somebody around there, just hug them. You know, show more kindness, release the happiness. That's what we call the happiness and anti-stress hormone. It's called serotonin. The slang for smile and laughter triggers, serotonin. So when we're having a class, I always like to say to my participants, oh yeah, sero yourself. Sero, it means hug. Eliminate, avoid negative emotions such as anger, bitterness, hostility, resentment, unforgiveness, hatred, malice. They are a trigger to many diseases, addictions, and depression. Focus on love and kindness to overcome the prevalence of the above highlighted emotions. Just smile, laugh. Go and buy a light, go buy data, or go and buy the CD of the Night of 1,000 Laugh and laugh. Laugh. It is medicine. It is medicinal. Are we together? So I need you to take time to hug somebody around you. If you are alone, when you are done with this, find a place to hug. Yes, Sarah, I like that. Aisha, these your eyes, eh? Is it hug you are posting or what's this? I'm trying to place my hand on it. Okay, or you're saying you're smiling. Anyway, it's important for us to, so in your therapy session, it's good for you to ask people to hug themselves. Those that are gender sensitive, you can do a side hug. But for some people like us who are not gender sensitive, with a pure mind, you know. So it does a lot. You see, I said I will carry you when I see you. Okay, I can't wait for that. You're just a clown. Okay, so it helps you eliminate negative emotions. So when you are in your support group facilitation, just ask people to zero themselves. You know, it means it's called serotonin. That's why social distancing, the impact of it, we've not started. So before all of this touching, now everybody is afraid of hugging. They say we should be doing choco, you know, because we don't want to spread corona. It's already depleting a part of what helps mental health stability. Okay, so let's go to the next one. So zero somebody today, and make sure you zero someone every day. In my house, we're a lovey, touchy kind of a family. In fact, I'm not an African man who insists that my kids must prostrate in the morning. But they come to my room, I go to their room and I hug, I kiss my daughter, good morning, beautiful princess. I hug my son, kiss him on the head, God bless you, son. Good morning, dad. So in our house, we're touching, loving, kissing, mommy, daddy, children. It does a lot. Some of you, you missed your fatherly touch. Some of you, you had parents that were physically present or emotionally distant. So it is strange for you to even take hug from outside or, you know, hear someone say, I love you. Some of you, the first time you got to Unilag or university and someone said, I love you, you know, it was strange. You don't know love of friendship or filial. You know love of your rose. You know, it's because there were childhood, you know, issues that were not well processed. Anyway, we'll talk about that tomorrow. Okay? According to Dr. Colbert, of New York Times best-selling author of his book Deadly Emotions, the following negative emotions tend to the following. This is, can you see how disease is spelled? This is. There's a this that is not easy again. This is anger and hostility. It encourages hypertension and coronary artery disease. Tomorrow I will show you if you see the impact of negative emotions on your body parts. When somebody is angry at you, when all of you that are loathing people unforgiveness, you are doing yourself more harm. Because he who anyway, when you are the type who encourages anger, you are hostile, you hold on to animosity, you have tendencies for hypertension and coronary artery disease. Those of you who have bitterness, resentment, unforgiveness, hatred, malice, you know, you have tendencies to have autoimmune disorder, rheumatic arthritis, lupus, multiple sclerosis. Okay? Those of you that have anxiety, fear, and worry, you have irritable bowel syndrome, panic attacks, mitral valve palpitation, and heart palpitations. It's not one, so this is a cumulative effect on your body. You know, repressed anger, the tendency for you to have tension, migraine, you know, headaches, chronic back pain, etc. Change your words and change your world. A man's belly is filled with fruits of his lips. Man is moved by what he hears. Control what you hear. Control what you hear. If you know you have trust issues, stop watching Netflix where the storyline is about somebody suspecting another person. You know, some of you are doing yourself a lot of harm by exposing yourself to social media, especially during the pandemic. There's robbery here, there's this one here, and you know that you are not emotionally stable. You're the one that will go and check CNN for daily reports, 25,000 people are dead. You need to control what you hear. One of the hallmark of responsibility is the ability to control what you hear. So also some of you need to change your music, change your conversational environment, because your association determines your appetite, and your appetite is what you digest. So if you are living a fearful life, it's because you've been around people who have painted pictures of fearful incidences that your mind has processed, that your body is reacting to. So stop hanging around negative people. Okay? And you immediately change your mood, your emotions when you change your environment. You know, I've muted some status. I just don't bother again, because when they discovered a drug for the COVID-19. Most of the people that are always sharing figures, they didn't share it because we have tendencies to be more negative than positive. Okay, so don't. There's also some music that can trigger some illness. I don't listen to music that calm yourself down. You know, find something that is a bit more calm, like rock and roll. I don't know whether your generation listen to rock and roll. You know, there was one song I used to dance to many years ago that was later on I found out was the lyrics was just so on civil. He said, I'm a man without conviction, the rock and roll. Na, na, na. I mean, how can you be a man without conviction? Don't let me go into that. Anyway, listen daily to our affirmations, for 100% emotional and mental wellness. Eliminate negative thoughts, change them into positive ones. Start by using, we have an affirmation CD. It's for sale, it's not free. So if you want, you can speak to Temi about it. It was put together by myself and my mentors, but we have the CD in custody. Anyway, next slide. So this is the stress ball we're talking about. I don't have now, but you can get stress balls in the market. Okay. There's an exercise here. These are very powerful exercises you can do. So you don't, even if you don't have a very big room or you can't work because of security issues, these are exercises you can do for yourself. If my video was now, I would have put you through it. But I mean, it's very simple. Lift your leg, lift your right leg, move your eyes to the left, move your body to the right, to contrast itself, to gain some traction and some energy. See the powerful exercise, you know. So I will end this presentation with Bill Clinton's story. Okay, Bill Clinton's story, very powerful. There's also an affirmation we're all going to take. He said, never give up on someone with mental illness. When I is replaced by we, illness becomes wellness. Powerful. Never give up on someone with a mental illness. When I is replaced with when I is replaced by we, illness becomes wellness. A quote by Shannon L. Alda. The most powerful men in the world are US president. Because of this, they received the best healthcare in the world. If this is so, CNN chief medical correspondent Dr. Sanjay Gupta then says, how come former President Bill Clinton needed emergency bypass surgery just a few years out of office? Look at this very powerful. Follow this story. The Last Heart Attack, an hour documentary done by Dr. Sanjay Gupta, focuses on the latest heart diseases prevention science. In this candid and revealing interview, President Clinton discussed the major life changes he made to stay alive. Look at what he said. He said, I was lucky I didn't die of heart attack. I hurt like a devil for about 3 weeks. He continued describing a slow recovery following his 24-hour surgery, which followed the deeply stressful and emotional state. I don't know why this is not showing everything. Anyway, during this illness, I wasn't sure I would come out alive. Clinton said, I love junk food, hamburgers, steaks, french fries, shawarma. I have to change my lifestyle and diet. Now I'm a vegetarian. I have lost 20 pounds. I exercise regularly. I'm healthier than ever. I have to learn to forgive, master stress and my emotions. President Nelson Mandela helped me with this. He said he had to learn to forgive. So those of you who have unforgiveness as a default mode, when I know they help yourself for true. On the premiere of A Family History of Hypertension and a Major Animal-Based Diet, President Bill Clinton also experienced critical emotional stress during the Monica Lewinsky scandal, which further contributed to his heart issues. In an interview with the Guardian UK, Bill Clinton tells how the advice of a hero of an anti-hypertension struggle, former President Nelson Mandela, saw him through the toughest months of the scandal that threatened to engulf his presidency. Mandela told me he forgave the suppressors because if he didn't, they would have destroyed him. Did you see that? He said he forgave his oppressors because if he didn't, they would have destroyed him. Mr. Clinton said, you know, they already took everything. They took the best years of my life. I didn't get to see my children grow up. They destroyed my marriage. They abused me physically and mentally. They could take everything except my mind and heart. Those things I would have to give away and decide. Mandela said when he was finally set free, he felt all the anger welling up again, and he said, they've already had me for 27 years. I had to let it go. Dr. Dean Ornish and Dr. Cadell Estelle West Jr. also reportedly took Clinton through emotional balance, stress recovery, and lifestyle adjustment therapies. This is another powerful therapy, lifestyle adjustment. So if you are the type that you do home office, homeschool mosque, homeschool church, you need to do a lifestyle adjustment therapy. During this cardiac reversal program, they delivered him from the multiple heart attacks he had between 2004 and 2007. Speaking on this own attempt to love and forgive, various works done by him to him by people from his past, and also such people like the former independent councillor Kenneth Starr and the rest of his legal tormentors. Clinton adds, you do this not for other people, but for yourself. If you don't let go, it continues to eat at you. Can you see? So, speaking of his attempt to love and forgive, various wrongs done to him by people from his past, and also such people like the former independent counsel and the rest of the legal tormentors. So Clinton is saying that if you don't learn to love and forgive, you are not doing your other people, you are doing yourself. If you don't do this for other people, you are not, he's saying that please know that you are not doing this for other people, you are doing it for yourself. Someone says, oh, she hurt me, she broke my heart. Yes, that's who they are, that's not who you are. If you allow them, I think it's too much power to give to anyone to allow them control your emotions. Because when people hurt you and you are living in unforgiveness and animosity, what you have technically done is you have given the remote control of your emotions to someone who doesn't care. Let me say that again. When people offend you and you wallow in unforgiveness, animosity, and all of that, you have given the remote control of your emotions to someone who doesn't care about you. It's too much power to give, sweetheart. Take it back. Take that remote control back. You know, that's what Bill Clinton was trying to say to us. So it's time to love me a little louder today. Okay, so there's this affirmation I take people through. If I say we should unmute our mic, it will be rowdy, but just say it loud to yourself. Say, I am loved. Love dwells within me. Love and I were one. Love and kindness manifest through me every moment. I love and treat others and myself with respect, honor, and dignity. I therefore attract only respect, honor, and dignity. I am humble. I'm selfless. I'm patient. I believe and hope the best of all people. I rejoice in truth. I acknowledge good in and strengthen people. I live in perfect love, hence I conquer all. I release and forgive all wrong done to me. I don't know who this is for. I release and forgive all wrongs done to me. I bear all things. I endure all things. I hope all things. Wonderful. I believe all things are positive. I'm affectionate. I'm compassionate. I'm kind in words and deed. I never fail to love. I love all and I'm loved by all. I live to love and I love to live today and every day. I hope this was a blessing to someone. So let me get your comments, questions in the comment section before we go to the last one for today. I hope this was helpful. Please be sincere enough. If it wasn't helpful, let me know how I will need to buckle up myself. Yeah, so this is also a time where you need to zero somebody. Thank you, Aisha. It's very helpful. Amazing. Amomi. Thank you. Yes, it was Veishara. Thank you. We're 12 now, so let me get 12 comments. It was really helpful. Thank you, Felicia. Thank you, Felicia. Thank you very much, Abduratif. Thank you. Yeah, I really appreciate this. Thank you so very much. I really appreciate this. It was mind-blowing. Okay. Very helpful. Ojawumi, thank you. From having to confront and be open about our stress levels and factors. Thank you. It was very helpful. Joy. Mr. Tunji, as usual, you amaze me always. You are simply the best. Your delivery and knowledge shared. Thank you, Temi. Okay, an awesome session indeed. Thank you so very much. Peace. So many people have not spoken. Was it wasn't helpful? Okay, so let's go to the last phase, last stage. We started about 3:15, so let me see where this will take us. Okay, so the next one is communication. This is very powerful. So it's not possible for us to finish this today, but wherever we stop, if this class alone, when I take people on this class, the minimum I charge is 100,000 naira. Okay. So tell me, someone is asking, can they get this one payment? So tell me, will answer those questions. So this session is about 100K. So Assad is twisting my hands to make this available for a stipend, and yet many people are not paying for it. It's okay. So why do we need public speaking? We need public speaking in facilitation because you have to speak in front of an audience. And like I said earlier, it's not just for the Assad meetings alone. It's also for you. If you have never attended, okay, that will mean again. Thank you for your feedback. Okay, so public speaking is important because when you're doing a support group facilitation, you have to stand in front of a crowd. Okay, even in your place of work, you have to do presentation. So this will help you all round. And like I said, when we were pitching for this, I said the things we're going to share with you, they won't just be for Assad listening, facilitation, competence. It will be for life. It's going to be a life skill. Okay. Fantastic. So let's hit the ground running. It's a master class that I'm just going to compress to maybe about 2 hours. We're going to stop at 3:15. Then take it from there tomorrow. Okay, 5 pillars of public speaking. What are the 5 pillars of public speaking? So there's a model of public speaking, there's a personal speaking strength, there's monetization model, there's visibility platform, there's professionalism and ethics. Some of you are not planning to speak to earn, so I'll probably skip some of those modules, but you'll certainly be blessed. Theories and models of effective public speaking. All great speakers were bad speakers at first. So some of you have fear of public speaking. You know, the first time I was asked to speak publicly by my mentor, I wish the ground would open itself and I would just enter. I was so scared. Okay, so you're not the only one that is scared of overcoming that public speaking ish. Okay, so I've been asked. I was the first time I spoke out. I'm still looking at the day like. So I was asked to speak for 1 hour. So I started putting my thoughts together. I did everything I could do, I mean, it must be no less than about 3, 4 days. Stayed late night. All my meditation finished in 15 minutes. And I started looking like Dodo. You know the way Dodo looks, But it was because I didn't understand the public speaking. So I said that to say that all great speakers were bad speakers at first. Okay? So the next slide, very powerful slide, you will say. The art of persuading an audience with the power of words is critical to what we're doing here. Ideas of the 21st century, ideas are currency of the 21st century, and those who are exceptionally good at presenting, persuading others with their ideas will lead in their space. Camille Carlo, one of the greatest public speaking guys. Okay. So, what are the models of public speaking? According to Aristotle, there are 3 persuasive appeals. Okay. You would also learn the 9 public speaking secrets of the world's top minds. You will learn 3 persuasive appeals, which are the pathos, ethos, and the logos. So what are the models of public speaking? The pathos talks about your emotional connection to your audience. This is, sorry, let me get one minute. Okay, so I just went to get water. So if you're going to stand before an audience in your facilitation, you need to learn how to connect with your audience. And that's why I said smile, the shortest distance between 2 people, sharing a story. Excuse me. Okay, so that's the pathos part of public speaking. The ethos part of public speaking is credibility. Someone's mic is on again. Mute our mics. Thank you. Thank you. The ethos is credibility. So you need to. So why did I show you my slides when I started? I was trying to show you credibility. That I've spoken to multinationals, I've spoken to organizations. So for you who is just coming up to speak, one of the things you need to do is to be confident. You see, confidence is a powerful skill. And you see, one of my mentors that taught me how to even speak said, even when you're saying the wrong thing, be confident. I'm sure you heard me. Even when you're saying the wrong thing, be confident. Because confidence has its place in public speaking. Okay, logical arguments, logos, some of you might probably did debating in school. The debating that says that, good afternoon, the co-debaters, ladies and gentlemen. I'm here to say to you, it's better to be a mother than to be a father. If you're a mother, you'll be stealing meat from the pot. If you're a mother, you'll be cooking the meat. All of those, so that's where the logos is argumentative, logical arguments in trying to drive home a point. Okay, together, they're the 3 persuasive appeals, which are essential qualities that your speech and persuasion must have before an audience will accept your message. And it's the same thing when you stand in front of 5 people, when you stand in front of 50 people, when you stand in front of 12 people, it's the same thing. Okay, so next slide. Which Donald Trump do you think will command higher speaking fees as a public speaker? Which one? Let's type in the comment section. The apprentice or the president? Oh yeah. Based on the 2 things you have said, which of the 2 Donald Trump, which of the mannerism do you think will command higher speaking fees? I'm waiting. The president. The second, okay. Who else is going to answer? The president. Okay, so my next question is why? Why will it command attention? Okay, someone see demonstration. Okay. Somebody else? Is demonstrating. Thank you. The other things that he's doing. doing other things. Facial expression, thank you. What else? Hmm? It seems vocal. External connection, thank you. There's one word I'm looking for. One word. Confidence, communication, yeah? One word. Get it, I give you 1,000 naira. One word, dramatic. One word. One word. Body language. Because in every communication, there is verbal communication, there is non-verbal communication. So he had dramatic expressive, I agree with you. But all of that is in the public speaking space, we call it body language. So the second one had body language, it was speaking. Can you imagine the first one? The apprentice standing in front of you in a Assad listening skin, like, say, good afternoon. My name is Abdul Rahim. Peace. I'm here as your facilitator. With that straight look, they will go more depressed by the time they leave. Look at that's the truth now, Feishara.
Oh my God, it's not mute. Ah.
They're laughing and encourage me, don't worry. You know, so you can't facilitate a group with best expression. You can't. Okay, so the second one had body language that was demonstrating the things he was saying. Okay, all right. So the next slide. So I've asked you why. So the ethos establishing credibility. Aristotle, in his book on rhetoric, defined ethos as being trustworthy. This is what your audience hears about you before you even speak your first word. It's the persuasion they possess that they know they will be positively impacted by your speech. Can they trust what they're about to hear? It's a job to make them confident about this. So when you are a facilitator, don't be fidgeting and be walking around. You know, if you have to coordinate the class, do it with confidence. Okay? So you can't afford to cram anything and be confident. You just have to learn it by heart and allow it to flow. Okay, so that's something very, very, very important as we prepare to be support group facilitators. Okay, so what is trustworthiness? Honest, ethical, moral, and generous. You have to be generous with your stories. You have to be ethical. So you have to tell them things I've said to you. Our sessions are our sessions are confidential. Whatever we say here stays here. You have to be honest. Under honesty is vulnerability. You have to say how you've done foolish things. You know, how you've not handled things well. You know, I went to facilitate a support facilitation in Lekki, and it was about married women. So I looked at stupid things I've done in my life. So I said, there was a time that I was running my home the way my father was running my home, and how my father used to slam the door on my mom, and how I got married, and I used to slam the door on my wife, and I was telling them how foolish I was by not, you know, questioning the my father's approach. Even though I told everyone I would never run a home like my father ran his home, I ran my home exactly the way he ran his home. You know, so one of my favorite words when I want to be vulnerable is confident ignorance. That most of us sometimes were engulfed in confident ignorance, but yet we're denying the reality of it. Okay, so it's important for you to know that storytelling, if you go online, you will find storytelling, a lot of short stories you can tell. You know, share it with people in your room. If your classmates can or your roommates can laugh about it, the audience can laugh about it. Similarity, language, mannerism, dress, visuals, overall style, and all of that. Authority, organizational, political, don't need all of that. Reputation, expertise. So This is Aliko Dangote, I'm sure you know. If he wants to hold an event on wealth creation and tickets are 20,000 per person, how many participants do you think will attend? Loads of people will attend. Why? It has credibility. Okay, so this is a scenario. Speaker A has very interesting ideas, but only 3 years of work in the related field. Speaker B has written 2 best-selling books in the field and is a sought-after consultant with 15 years of experience. Which one of these 2 speakers would you invite to speak at your event if you can afford their rates? Obviously, it will be B. Why? Because he has written books, you know, he has more experience, he's been able to put things to practice. 15 keys to establishing ethos. Okay, so what are ethos again? Let me take you back to the beginning so you remember what ethos are. Ethos talks about credibility. We're talking about the first one. So be a good person, develop deep expertise in topics you speak about. So that's why some of these things you have to read them and chew them. Market yourself. This is for people who are going to do this corporately. Anyway, let me move out of this. No one is speaking here to earn yet. Okay. Let me stay with pathos. Establishing emotional connection with your audience. Very, very, very important. I mean, this till tomorrow. I don't know if you don't agree with me, it's fine. Disagreement is allowed. It's just a sign that God gave us different taste bud. Till tomorrow, Obama is my favorite president in the world. His oratory gift, his body language, his high contact, his charisma. Forget it. I've not found any man, any president, you know, who's got. I mean, those days, my wife used to call him my crush. I mean, even if he's saying nonsense, you see the way he looks at the audience, the way he looks at himself, the way he's so professional. We say, "Good morning, Americans. We've got a dream. The dream that one day our nation," and he knows how to project his voice. So imagine Obama not even being a mental health advocate, stand in front of an audience of many people who have mental health issues. They will listen. You know why? He's got the charisma. Okay. Yeah, Temi said, Abdulatif Oduyoye, you are just a clown. Buhari for where? Eh? Don't compare dog and lion now. Anyway, so great guy. Done phenomenal things in that space. Pathos emotional connection. The word pathos is derived from the ancient Greek word for suffering or experience. Pathos describes your ability to evoke audience emotions and strategically connect these emotions with elements of your speech. As a speaker, your goal is to create a shared emotional experience with your audience. How do you do that? Share a story of yourself. So you have to prepare for your support group facilitation. And it's simple. Look for something that's happened to you or share a story in a figurative way. Paint pictures with your words. You know, there are loads of information online on how to share your story, how to communicate using stories and metaphors. Metaphors bypass your conscious mind, your logic mind. You know, there's a way you can. So this is one of the things I did. I was public speaking coach for one of the governorship aspirants in Osun State in 2018. I was in Osun State for 6 months. So they asked me to. So I was a surrogate speaker for the governor-elect, the aspirant. So I was asked to go and speak to some elderly men. You know, I just look for Bola Ige quotes. I just look for stories. And I used it to Robin. One of the very phenomenal things I did was that it was a great man that said that it's only insanity for us to keep doing the same thing and win and get another result. If we look into our society, there's a lot of insane people. But according to how that man said it, you know, it is insanity. So I was already saying that they were insane, but I was not saying it. I was using metaphors to rub it in because they were meant to be local government grassroots leaders who should mobilize people, but they were collecting money and they were not doing anything. So they sent me to go and speak to them. They would never quote me because I used quotes to talk to them. Okay, so I evoked, that's for that context. For our context there, we must go online and find stories. You must find a way. Dora, me, where have you been? So as a speaker, your goal or a support group facilitator, your goal is to create a shared emotional experience with your audience. The goal of a persuasive speaker are to be aware of the wide range of emotions, decide which emotions to evoke, and learn how these emotions can be evoked in your audience. So that's why I said you see it's a learning curve. When you start, you'll make your mistakes, but please never be shy of making mistakes. Being perfect is not the yardstick for greatness. The perfect ones are not born, they will never be born. And one of the things that can help you grow is to be willing to fail on your way to success. Okay, so for example, I've done support group system where I had to come up with a high pitch. Hey, good afternoon, everyone. It's good to see you here. I love your red gown. I love some other sessions. I go in there with bedroom voice. Then I take it up. I go things like, good to see you this morning. Everyone looking really good. I'm sure the weather's been very cold. The traffic has been awesome. I'm sure some of you are eating the pack of gala before you got here and a cup of Coke. But we're going to have an amazing time this morning. It's going to be a great time. It's going to be an amazing time. Now that's bedroom voice. Then you now take it to gradually now take the pitch. That can be done by a professional. You can also be a professional. Okay. So what's someone saying here? I hope you're not laughing at my voice. Okay. So I'm trying to say that there are different tone of voice you can use for your audience. What are you doing? You are evoking emotions. One person who does well. I don't know whether some of you know him. He's a man called. I'm looking at his face now. He's a protege to TD Jakes. His name is what's the name of this man? He will start speaking with a bedroom voice. Anyway, if I remember, I'll tell you. But the guy has mastered the art of speaking. It comes to your level. He will start by saying, I'm sure it's going to be another great service today. You can be sure that you will be blessed when you come into this beautiful. High five your neighbor and say, it's going to be a great day. It's going to be a great day. Then gradually you move his voice to, and you see, the last time on my way to California, and you see him increase the pitch of his voice. That is a style, but you also have to be aware of your wide range of emotions. You need to decide which emotions to evoke. You need to learn how these emotions can be evoked in your audience. So when you see that so you always come with the opposite. So when you come in and you see that everywhere is lively, everybody's gisting, so much noise, come there with the bedroom voice. You will get the attention. If you come to their level and you say, hey, it's good to see everyone this morning, you will, in their mind, they will first zone you on the same spot. But when you come in and you allow people to try to sprint to hear you, with that bedroom voice, and say, oh, yes, it's going to be an amazing time this morning. I think that what we're going to do here is going to be so amazing. People, their life will not, So what you're doing in essence is that you're pitching and you are taking it to the next level and you are connecting with your audience, So if it is a quiet coming with, the loudness of your voice, if it is very loud coming with something that you gradually scale up, okay? Your audience will be more likely to understand your perspective. Your audience will be more likely to accept your claims. Your audience will be more likely to act on your call to action. Why? Because you have connected. It will be easy for you to be, there's what we call crowd control. Emotional connection precedes crowd control. So when people are, and sometimes you need to go and find someone who is nodding his head, find someone who is giving you thumbs up, or someone that is writing. That is they call it speaking trigger. That's the trigger for you. Just make sure you have eye contact with that person. If you want to ask a question, go to that person. You know why? He has become the gateway to other people in that support group system. Okay, so that's one of the very, very easy secrets to connecting with your audience. Just as having high ethos makes your audience more likely to be persuaded, pathos can also make your audience more susceptible to being persuaded. Okay, so your emotional connection, your credibility, your confidence. Okay, 17 keys to establishing pathos. Select emotional themes and points. You always have choices to make about which points to include in the time allotted. Be sure that some of them carry emotional power too. Choose your words which add emotional emphasis. You always have choices to make about which points to include in the time allotted. Be sure that some of them carry emotional power. The first one is to conquer your public speaking fear, probably evoke stronger emotions than learning to speak with more precision. So things like so to do the first one, you can say to your neighbor, we're gonna have a good time, okay? Or you can say, you can even leave them for 2 minutes and say, please exchange pleasantries with your neighbor. This is not Molo, this is not a boss, this is a gathering where we're in a small family for a short time. So tell your neighbor your name, what you do for a living. What you're doing is you are being selective of the emotions evoked. And when two people in an audience can talk, you're already creating rapport, and you're creating your landing page or something accessible for everyone to connect. The second one is exercise judgment to select the words which fit the emotional tone that works to your advantage. I know I mentioned that earlier on. If it's a noisy place, come with a calm voice. If it's a calm atmosphere, raise your voice. You know, in communication, they say that communication is broken into three. Your words is 7%, your body language is 35%, your tone is 58%. Can you beat that? So your tone is powerful. So when I come in and I say, hey, Hasha, how are you doing this morning? Good to see you. See. Or when I come in and I say, hey, Temi Baba, both of them don't evoke the same emotions, you know? So that's what he was saying by the second one. Let me run to the third. Use rich analogies and metaphors. Analogies and metaphors allow you to make your speech more interesting. I said that earlier. Analogies and metaphors allow you to make an emotional connection by tapping into emotions already felt by your audience. Okay, so part of the analogies is say things like, so I used an analogy at a speaking webinar I spoke about recently. And I said, Nigeria is the country where we put wolves in charge of sheep and we pretend that the wolves will become vegetarians. Can you beat that? Let me say that again. We said the sad thing about Nigeria is that we put wolves in charge of sheep and we pretend that the sheep will become the wolves will become vegetarians. Talking about the corrupt leadership that we have. So wolves normally eat sheep. We put wolves in charge of sheep and we pretend that the wolves will become vegetarians overnight. Powerful analogy. So you have to think through the analogy to use. Use a recent story, you know, like go to Twitter. I think what is raining now is entanglement. Okay, so that's powerful. Number 4, tell stories. Stories are often the quickest path to greatest emotional connection with your audience. And you have to tell stories. You know, Jesus used stories. You should also use stories also. Jesus is a very powerful, an amazing storyteller. You know, entanglement, you know, so find something that is common and use it as a landing page for everyone to connect to. Tell stories. You know, I like the story. I like to share about the parable. So those of you who know about the Bible, the parable of talents. So I said in every organization there will be three kinds of people. There will be people. So there will be people with 5 talents. They will add 5 to it. They will make it 10. People with 3 talents, they will add 3 to it, make it 6. There's some other people with 1 talent. They will go and bury it. Either you bury your talent, or you expose your fear, or you expose your fear and you bury your fears and expose your talent. You know, that was a story that Jesus Christ used. So you got to go find stories that you can use for your audience. Okay. Use humor. If your audience is laughing, then they're having fun. And if they're having fun, just a minute. So use an added boost. Humor makes your audience like you, and at least for a moment, and that boosts your ethos too. So you must find jokes online, that can make people connect with you through visuals. You have the opportunity to use visuals. Visuals are powerful, you know. So model the emotion with your delivery technique. Great delivery magnifies emotions. Poor delivery nullifies them. Let me say that again. Magnifies emotions. Poor delivery nullifies them. Okay? So you must find a way to do a great delivery, because great delivery magnifies emotions. Poor delivery nullifies them. Evoke curiosity and marketing materials. Okay, that's for those that will speak corporately. Speak to earn. Someone is saying I'll speak to earn too. Yes, but you have not been. Okay, so okay. Evoke surprise in introduction and elsewhere. Yes, a surprise gets your audience excited. Say start your introduction to your facilitation thing like in life we go for meetings. There are meetings that you will forget for a season. There are meetings you got put together for a reason. But this is the meeting that you'll be sure that it's for a season and for a reason. And you can be sure you will become a season when your reasoning becomes the reason why people are gathered. And they're wondering, hey, entanglement, you see lyrics. So where's the appetite? Use a third party story about some of the things I've shared, some of the things that I have shared, and say some people have attended they attended support group facilitation series that has been very amazing. You are in for another great time, um, etc., etc. So use vivid sensory words. Nigerian jollof rice. Can you smell it? Imagine you enter a class like that and say, which one do you prefer, Nigerian jollof rice or Ghanaian jollof rice? Those are sensory words. Okay. Which other word was raining at the time? So you also have to be current. Jollof rice, Nigerian jollof rice. What else? Different things. But because words paint pictures. If you're writing, you need to write that down. Words paint pictures. So you can't mention Nigerian jollof rice and people will see JO party after party. Oh, me. Party after party. Awesome. So whatever song is also, if I say this, nobody should call me this, but this was what someone said. See me. Someone said this to me on my birthday a few days ago. My birthday was July the 8th. So someone said, happy birthday to the therapy of the Malians. I had to laugh because it was very relative to the kind of things I do, and in fact, the thing almost, it had several comments, therapy of the Malians. I said, that's a good brand because a lot of Malians need therapy. Mafo, Oshe, MD, Mado, Maf. You guys, you sabi slang, I'm learning work beside you. Bass goes, Oshe, That's what you people in this group for. Bass goes. Which other one? They're teaching me a lot of things. Anyway, let me move on. Be authentic. To share an emotion, you got to feel it too. Be honest, share your presentation in a way that your audience will feel as passionately as you are. Inside life. Okay? Be authentic, so share stories. And you see, you need to evoke emotions in your sharing story. When you say things like, I read the story of a particular young lady. In fact, the day I read it, I was almost crying because I must say the truth to you, it really got to me so much. How will somebody be rich twice? In fact, can I get a tissue paper there? Even at this moment, I feel like crying. You are evoking emotion in the story. Okay, or you say things like, one of my cousins, or maybe a story, you read a story in the newspaper about how someone lost, a woman lost two children and a father and a husband on the same day. So pathetic a story. But that's not my emphasis. My emphasis is the fact that I was able to come out of it. As I'm even talking to you right now, I'm feeling the energy of the woman. As I was reading the story, I was close to was being teary. You are evoking emotions, because when your emotions match your storytelling, it will help your vocal delivery. Okay? So, and it has to be learned. You have to share it with your word paint pictures. Yes, word paint pictures. Very true. So you've got to learn to know that as you are sharing the things you're saying, you are painting pictures in the mind of your audience. You're painting pictures. Also share your own story. If you've had a mental health challenge or something, or you know someone that has had it at some point, it's important and critical. Eliminate physical barrier. You connect with your audience. The closer you are to your audience, the more personal your presentation feels for them. The more personal it feels, the greater your chance of emotional connection. Don't be too far away from your audience while speaking to them. Distance is a barrier. So if you are in doing it, this is very critical. If you are facilitating a support group, listening session, please, when people are scattered, get them to cluster. Let me say that again. When people are scattered, get them to cluster before you start. Because it's easier to evoke emotions among clustered people than scattered people. I won't go and speak anywhere. Somebody is sitting north, somebody is sitting east, somebody is sitting west and south. No, I will ensure that everyone forms a cluster. Barrier to communication. The farther they are to you, the it is when you're trying to communicate with them. Eliminate competing emotions in the environment and identify negative influences in your speaking environment and take charge so that your audience can focus on you. Maybe somebody chatting, somebody picking calls. So there has to be ground rules, which includes putting their phones away or putting their phones on silence, etc. Avoid tripping emotional landmines. Situations where you aren't familiar with your audience are potentially dangerous. Saying things that can be negatively received and release an emotion of negative energy. Feel the strength of your speech. You have got to be careful not to say something or gesture which accidentally triggers an emotion that you are not intended to pass across. Okay, so we also need to be, yes, I like all of your slangs, but if you're privileged to facilitate a session for people older than you, brass goes will not work. I'm sure you know that. You're smart people now. So brass goes will not work. Jollof rice might work. So you have to do a demographic analysis of the people you are speaking to. If you have some people who are mothers there, be careful the kind of stories you share. And if it's a religious gathering, please ensure that if you are going to know their doctrines, I'm a Christian, where I worship, we're free, they even wear the scarf and all of that. But I'm going to speak in churches where they tie scarf, they're not flashy. In fact, I went to speak in a church most of us know about, very conservative church. I went to buy French suits because you see, dressing also can put people off. My secretary that followed me, she normally likes to wear trousers. I told her, no. Go and buy skirts and buy urban. If you dress off, I went to speak to some Muslims. I'm a Christian. I speak to Muslim gatherings a lot around Onikman. Every lady there was wearing hijab. So when I did the profiling of everyone there, I went with a trouser that was not touching the ground. Am I being hypocritical? No. I'm mirroring my audience. Okay? It was meant to be a 1.5 hour session. I spent 3 hours. They couldn't stop me. If I didn't connect with them, they will tell me to hurry up. So you got to dress to match your audience. Okay? It's important for you to contextualize your dressing to your audience. Okay? Good. So logos, establishing logical arguments. Logic is the Greek word from which the English logic is derived. Logical reasoning has two flavors: deductive reasoning and inductive reasoning. Deductive reasoning consists of one or more deductive reasoning arguments. You generally start with one or more premises, then derive a from them. Premises can be facts, claims, evidences, or previously proven conclusions. The key is that a deductive argument, if your premises are true, then your conclusion must be true. All men are mortal. Joe is a man. Therefore, if Joe is a man, if the first two statements are true, then the conclusion must be true. Okay, so what it's trying to say in essence is you must be, when you're saying what you're saying, you must be able to marry your thoughts, so that what you're saying initially will not sabotage what you're saying now, and that requires a lot of concentration, etc. Inductive reasoning, this is similar in that it consists of premises which lead to a conclusion. The difference is that conclusion is not guaranteed to be true. You can only state it with some degree of confidence. Your audience is applying. Let me move past this. Okay. Pathos use of common places. Many members may agree that eating dinner together every day keeps us strong. Organizations may have core values which include communication is key to our success. Society at large generally believes that freedom of speech is a good thing. When you use your audience's common places as your premises, your arguments appear much more stronger. You don't have to conceive them to adopt a completely new viewpoint. Rather, you are simply encouraging them to take what they already believe and apply it to a new scenario. So maybe you start with Unilag students, the things that are peculiar to Unilag students, use it, and make it something everyone can connect to. For example, there are a lot of Unilag students, don't let me say this, but there was a time somebody jokingly said that if you're not careful, you won't realize that, don't let me say this. Anyway, so it's important to use something that is not so offensive, but that people can connect with, very, 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 very important. By demonstrating logos with strong logical arguments, your audience will tend to see you as a knowledgeable and prepared person. This, in turn, raises your ethos, emotional connection, because after all, only someone with pure intention will work so hard to prepare such a convincing argument. So all of those things I shared, WHO said that depression will be the greatest killer by 2020. That's why we put this together. We want you to please pay attention to it. I'm certified to be a listener. Just, you are making them comfortable with you. Okay? So the next slide talks about pathos, why logos is critical for speakers. When combined with good ethos and pathos, strong logos will cause all but the most stubborn audience members to give strong concentration to your ideas. And that's very, very important. So 17 keys to establishing logos. Once I'm done with this, we'll close for today and we continue tomorrow. Use plain language. Avoid technical jargon that your audience is not familiar with. Use words that your audience uses. So you must do demographic analysis before you go for a listening session or support group session. Be explicit. Your audience should not need a decoder ring to figure out your message. Make sure you are not misinterpreted. Trace sequences or process in order. Help your audience understand a sequence or process. Match through the steps or phases in a meaningful order, usual, sequential. Use diagrams, careful crafted and focused diagrams always enhance the understandability of your argument. Now, for an audience that is not so English, don't be using words like understandability or particularism. All of you sitting here, we're here because of the particularism. Nigeria is very particularistic. No, you have lost them. Okay, before particulars. Number 5, use charts. Let's leave that because you won't be using PowerPoint. Use progressive disclosure. This means that you build up the entire diagram. Use comparison analogies. We mentioned that earlier. Leverage audience common places. We mentioned that also. Ask questions and get your audience thinking. Questions like, do you think Nigeria is doing enough for mental health? With the rate of rape, with the National Assembly doing this, with this happening, do you think, you know why? Because that will provoke your audience to be thinking. So rather than passively waiting for you to provide answers, they'll be contributing to your answers as you go. Address the opposing point of view and refute it. Bringing up opposing arguments make you seem unbiased and boost your ethos. Further and more importantly, allows you to directly refute the opposing arguments with logical arguments of your own. Do not avoid opposing viewpoints, address them. For example, someone says, I know I agree with that WHO says that somebody is tampering with slides. Would you please stop? That's by 2020. I don't agree with HIV is there. Who is tampering with the slides? Would you please stop? Okay. Emphasize the points of most value to audience. Since your presentation has a finish line, you must make choices how best to spend your time. Use prose or photographs, that's what people in slides. Use vivid details, use facts and statistics, you know. I mentioned a lot of statistics then, so you've got to learn them. If you have to write them in the paper and read out, please don't know. Every year, many people die of AIDS. Every year, 2,000 people in our community die of AIDS. Cite your sources. Statistics may be accurate, but without citing the source, your audience may dismiss it. That's why I mentioned what WHO said. I mentioned some of the things we do with the Stanford University. Use real example and case studies. Real example and case studies show that the theory works in real world. Use personal stories and anecdotes. A personal story combines the power of a real example with that of a cited source. Personal stories and anecdotes carry a lot of logos. So this is the end of session 1. All right, so let me take questions. Questions. I have 5 minutes to do this so I can head out for my next meeting. Feedback, questions. What jumped out at you for the presentation?
Okay, good afternoon, everyone. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Thank you, Mr. Tunji, for this wonderful section. Okay, thank you for the wonderful section. So I want to ask, when we're talking about asking questions as in a session, and then I see that just maybe one person is really focusing on me, writing down all that, and I just focus on that person, asking him questions, won't the other people feel left out? Most of the time, what I do is to ask someone I know that is not really listening, and then he or she tries to come back to my pace. I don't know if you understand my question.
I understand what you're saying. So what I meant by that is, I'm not saying just look in one direction. So one of the things that help public speaking is you need to keep your eyes around the people, have eye contact with people that you are speaking with, but let your often attention be on the person who is listening. Now, that can work for a normal class. For some people who are emotionally disturbed, if you pay so much attention on one person, it could get them off. If you pay so much attention on the person that is not speaking, You could also put them off. That's why I said your intuition must be at work. Your emotional intelligence must be at work. You have to unbiasedly facilitate your session. Okay, so it's not all the question that will go to one person, but let the eye contact, especially eye contact, particularly, let eye contact be more with the person who is showing that, then you can now move around. I wish that we were in a physical class, then I could show you physically, but then you can now move around your audience to ensure that you have eye contact with almost everyone. But and if you try that and it works, if that puts that person on the spot and makes them sit up, it's fine. So maybe part of what I also didn't say is it's an art, and you can't template an art. It is science that says 2 + 2 is 4. Speaking is an art, so you have to follow the trends of what is existing in that room at that time. Okay, so someone said for a second presentation, when we were taking the stress evaluation test, I noticed that there were about 2 numbers where it felt like I was a 0 at the beginning, and towards the end I felt like a 10. How can we score best? Okay, so I don't know whether I answered the question. I don't know who was asking this question. I think it's Peace, right? Is that Peace? Peace?
Yes, I understand now. Thank you. Yes, sir, you did. Thank you very much.
All right, feedbacks. Let me take one more question. It's 3:14. I need to head out by 3:15. Let's come in early tomorrow. We're back at 12 o'clock tomorrow also to do the needful. Okay, so in the absence of that, thank you for your time. Don't let's just be hearers. Let's also find a way that we can practice the things that we have learned. Timmy, any other thing?
Hello? Can anybody hear me?
Yes, I can.
Can you hear me, sir?
Very loud and clear.
Thank you very, very much, sir. Thank you very, very much. I'm sure everybody here has learned something today, and we're all going home with something, and this is this that we have learned today. We can't pay for it. So we're really, really grateful. Early tomorrow. Let's start by 12, but let's all be available. Okay, we come very early, and you do send it back form for all of you to fill tomorrow. Tomorrow, let's come prepare the questions and everything. Because tomorrow is like